Alrighty, hello and welcome everybody. We are live. Sorry, I'm very sorry for the wait. Warhammer 2 had to do a random surprise update, even though in the store it said it didn't have one, and then it just updated and it was like 9 minutes to update. I was like, fantastic, that's exactly what I need just as I'm about to go live. So brilliant stuff. But how are we all doing? Hope we're doing very well. So today, for those that basically don't know what we're doing here, we are going to be having probably one of the best clans there is for multiplayer here in Total War, which is going to be ODM, and we're going to have two of their top players with Pantalonnade going up against TheGreenOne. So there's going to be 7 games, so it'll be first of 4 wins will take the series, and it should be excellent. Today we are going to have a special guest. We are going to have Alfredino himself, which is the leader of ODM. He will be casting there on Twitch, which is going to be fantastic, and yeah, it should be really awesome. They're gonna get into us with the picks and bans, so we'll know what's going on there. Yeah, Lurk playing games with Wifey. Nice, Prophet Oreo, welcome. We have Mr. America, we have World Beater, we have Mr. Wizard. Welcome everybody, welcome. It's lovely to be back here. Pantalonnade in the chat as well as Mr. Parkerilla. Hello, welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, or maybe even evening here if you are over in Europe with me. So, yeah, we're going to be kicking it off in OpenHammer. It looks rather interesting so far. It looks like we had a ban from Beastmen there from Pantalonnade. We had I Pick Chaos Dwarfs, ban Dowie and Wood Elves. Okay, so ban Lizardmen. So looks like I think there's a bunch of bans that go on. It's quite interesting. Sorry, I got quite a few messages. Cool. So it looks like it looks like it's Britonia versus Norska. So we're looking good to go. And then what we'll do during the games is we'll get these guys in to get in kind of the downtime as they're building their builds. We'll get them in to have a little chat, go through their minds as to what they brought, why they brought it, and what was the game plan during it, which should be really exciting. Mr. Hannadins, how we doing? Welcome. And it looks like most people believe it's going to be 4-3 in so it's going to be down to game 7, which is excellent. I like to see that. Indeed. So we should have the man, the myth here somewhere. Let's see if he's ready. Right, looks like we're going to be talking to the man, the myth, the legend. Let's get in with him. Hey, Mr. Alfredino. I wonder if he can hear me.
Hey.
How's it going?
I just realized one thing.
What's that?
I've put my whole second period of the stream. So
Where are you streaming? What's the? Can you send me a link for your stream and then I'll send it over here as well.
yeah, it's on Twitch, and I've been forgetting that I was mute the whole time. So
yeah.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
I was wondering, like, I've been trying to talk to you, and it's alright.
No worries. So we've obviously got 2 of your fantastic players here. Tell me a little bit about them. So tell me their strengths, their weaknesses, who generally comes out on top, all those kind of things.
So Pantalonnade is one of our French player inside ODM. Like, he's the main dwarf, and he also plays a lot Bretonia and Wood Elf. I guess he also plays Beastmen. Like, I mean, Pantalonnade has some very meta picks, but lately he has been focusing his plays on Dwarf and High Elf Bretonia mainly. Okay. And for game 1, he's our Spanish player in the clan. Basically, we have 2 Spanish players, some of the best Spanish players in the community, I would argue. So Showtime and game 1, yeah. And game 1 is a very good Norscan player. It's probably his main faction, but he plays a little bit of everything. His style mainly comes down to a rush.
Okay.
But he has some very strange picks, so.
So what would you say here? I would say this is probably slightly Bretonia favoured. What's your thoughts on this?
Yes. I mean, it is Bretonia favored. But that being said, what is not favored when it's against Norsca, you know? It's pretty difficult to have a good matchup for Norsca. It's probably one of the best matchup for Norsca to be played, so.
Okay, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to hop into it here. What's your prediction for game one? Are we going to go Norsca or are we going to be going Bretonia with Pantalonnade?
That's pretty difficult to say. I would argue that the style of Pantalonnade in this matchup, if he goes for this, I don't know the builds, but if he goes for it, I would argue that Pantalonnade is not favored compared to GreenOne. GreenOne will take his head off. But that's my predictions. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's look into the builds.
So
and then we can
what do you want to cover?
Well, let's have a look. So let's see what we got for the. Let's see what we got the builds for both sides. We can see what both have got, and then when it kicks off, we can mute up, and then we'll cast and come back afterwards.
Fair enough.
And then we can compare notes. We can see what we think about the starting army. See if they've got what we think what would be optimal, what wouldn't be optimal. Hello, Mr. Casual. How we doing? How we doing, everybody? Hope we're all doing very well. For those who don't know, we are going to be on Twitch here with the ODM legend Alfredinho. I will be sharing a link with him very shortly. So if we have a look here with Norsca, we're going to have throwing axes, Marauder Horsemen, and throwing axes. Bisatash Nar, more Marauder Horse Masters, Famir Warriors, a massive Marauder front line with more Famir Warriors with the great weapons, and some Marauder Chariots with Wolfric and a Metalcaster. What's your thoughts on this so far?
Pretty good. I do not like Wolfric on Chariots against Bretonia, but I mean, he has some good mobility, so by the look of it, he will be able to answer what the Bretonian army is bringing.
Okay.
Because it seems very focused on skirmishing with the horsemen, archers, horsemen. By the look of it.
So I think what it's got here as well. So we've got fire and transportation. So we're looking for a bit of a horse blob here. But then also we've gone with the chariot with Wolfric, so that's a bit of an interesting pick. So he's gone with anti-infantry with Wolfric, but then also brought fire and transportation in case there's a lot of horses.
Maybe he's trying to bait the Bretonian out with by sending his chariots on one side and just forcing him to answer with some cavalry and just forcing him to blob. But I'm pretty sure Pantalonnade will see it. We'll see. It's interesting for sure. On the Bretonian side, oh my god, look at this. The Royal Pegasus Knights, it's gonna be pretty nice. I mean, it's a treat to the eyes for sure. That being said, I don't know. I'm very disappointed he didn't go for Alberic. I'm favoring GreenOne right now. So
you're favouring the green one? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you want to open, or do you want to?
No, we could just stay for now, but we'll stay. But we see we've got Raw Pegasus Knights, and that's going to be really tasty for the final transportation. And then King Leon Kerr. So King Leon Kerr could maybe bait in a final transportation, maybe take that with a bit of healing. What do you reckon?
I would argue it's a nice statement. Like, yeah, it's a good guess. I think Leon Kerr is pretty much. He will be able to take the final transmutation with a little bit of healing. He shouldn't mind, but the Royal Pegasus Knights are for sure into trouble with this Law of Magic. Yeah.
I think we got the Damsel of Life, so we've got Earthblood, and then we've also got some Dwells Below. So we're definitely going to be going for healing. I think he probably expected Metal Magic here. Yeah, would you say that's the optimal picks of magic on both sides?
I do like the Metal Caster if he wants to go for a blob. I do not know if he has the army to be able to force a blob. That's the problem mainly. But again, it mainly comes down to whether or not Pantalonnade will be forced blob. I do believe right now Pantalonnade is in trouble. Yeah.
Okay.
But on the Bretonian side, a lot of life is a good idea.
Yeah, I think that we've got some Knights of the Realm at the back here, so we've got some very good anti-large cav, but they're going to be too slow here for the Marauder throwing axis. So I quite like the peasant mobs. They're pushing out, keeping that cavalry away. Very, very cheap option.
I do feel like this rush is very forced from the GreenOne side, and he has been. I don't know if it's very well thought, but he is doing the work for now. So we'll see.
The micro on the flanks here with the Familiar Warriors. It looks like he's trying to engage the majority of the infantry, and he's probably going to be looking to get those great weapons into the backside here up against the cavalry.
There is a lack, in my opinion, of movement in the cavalry parts of the Bretonian side. If he has so many things invested in the cavalry, he should be starting to engage. But we'll see. I guess he's a little bit scared about the females.
Yeah, I would say the same. I think this is a bit of a petrifying area to be if you are Pantalonnade here in Bretonia, because you don't want to get caught out with those Familiar with the great weapons.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Final transmutation, oh wow. Okay,
that is fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be troublesome for the Bretonian side. And also, the lines are starting to push.
Yep.
It's difficult for...
I think for those that missed that, there was a really nice double effect there. So we saw the ability with the Sea Fang coming down on the line of horsemen doing some lovely damage, immediately cast by a brilliant final transmutation, catching 3 of the knights, plus also Leon Kerr, which was absolutely incredible. And now we're going to have some counterplay here with some dwellers below.
That's actually quite, I didn't see it, but nice from you to point it out, because it's actually true that the Sea Fang on top of the final transmutation made it almost impossible for Pantalonnade to disengage and avoid getting absolutely destroyed by the final transmutation, because the Sea Fang has a slowing effect. So.
Yeah, I think what's interesting here as well, we've got a lot of horsemen in the back there, the mounted German archers. And you know, they're obviously here to counter the Marauder horseman play, but you know, in the middle here with Familiar Warriors, there's quite a few targets. Kind of like if you're shooting my horsemen, you're not shooting my Familiar, and there's a massive problem here for the cavalry where they can't deal with all of the threats, and the threats are now starting to pull apart this the build here from Bretonia.
Yeah. I would argue right now for sure Bretonia is in a troublesome position, but it is in a way a loss. It really depends if he can get this wolf freak out soon. But
on the back here we have
it's gonna be difficult.
We've got the Beast of Tashnau on the back here catching some of his Knights of the Realm. Don't know if you saw that, but there's he's doing some really nice clean-up work here in the back with his anti-large Warhounds.
Yes, it's very well played from GreenOne. I would argue that he could at this point in the game again Pantalonnade couldn't do much about it, but he probably mistimed his charges a little bit. He lost. GreenOne lost an opportunity to charge Luen, so he couldn't get in the air.
Well, Luen now has a Hunter of Champions on him. He's getting throwing axe to death as well. So it's a really nice pickup there coming forward from the GreenOne. And now the majority of the peasants are breaking. There's not much staying force on the floor. It looks like we're going to be shooting into the back of some Marauder Spearmen, not really getting most of these mobile targets that are going to clean up the majority of this Bretonia build. We're now going to be going into army losses though. So it looks like there's not really much more to say here. Maybe Leon Kerr could heal and get back into this?
Yeah, okay. Probably if you take out the Familiar Warriors, you still have a game on your hand. Now it sounds it sounds dreadful. One problem you face when you're playing Bretonia against Chaos factions with javelin horsemen javelin units is that at the end of the game, after all, if you only have like Luen against Skamish Cav or the Fey Blob against Skamish Cav, you will probably lose. So, but nice display on both sides, and Pantalonnade is quite a chat for bringing the the Pegasus.
Yeah, so if we have a look here, Wolfrig got 2,575 damage value. So that was quite nice from him. Of course, coming with the chariot, you weren't too sure about that, but the chariot makes him a little bit tankier. Certainly brings him.
I stand corrected, I must say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nice thing
Go
with
for it.
casting, right? So normally I would say, probably his most efficient is on horseback, but it seems here that, that kind of extra stability element, also dealing with the infantry, which there was a lot here from Bretonia, was quite nice, actually. What was the main thoughts for you? I mean, 1.9k as well on the metal caster.
I'm actually okay. So Metalcaster is completely justified because I must say, like this final transmutation was absolutely a beauty.
Yeah.
An absolute beauty. But Wolfric, on the other hand, I would not believe it. Like, it seems very bizarre against the build of Pantalonnade. Maybe is there like some bugs about Wolfric's Chariot's double tapping when he is engaged? Could be there could be something on those lines, but because he's on Chariot, he has armor piercing. He still has some good fighting capabilities in with his ability. So after all, he's perfectly fine dealing with Luen if he has some support.
Yeah, especially also on top of Hunters of Champions. I mean, also the Famir Warriors, bit of a strange pick, but still 1,100, 1,000 value as well, coming in at full health, not losing a single model. It's quite interesting. And the one thing I really like about the Famir Warriors, it's kind of Noblars on Ogre Balls kind of situation, where if you've got cheap chaff that can kind of dissipate that damage, the Famir can then thump back up against the cavalry with some pretty decent mass.
That's actually a very good analogy. Like, it's if for the viewers who are like more used to Warhammer 3, I guess it's kind of a combination of a support style like ogres would do, and it's quite effective against Britannia. It sounds very, by the way, it sounds very scary for Britannia in Warhammer 3 playing against ogres.
Yeah, I think ogres is going to be very difficult for Bretonian to deal with, and I think why I also see Wolfric on a chariot is if you see there's a lot of Marauder spearmen, so there's not much anti-infantry prowess here. Yeah, you've got some kite for example, but everything here is dealt to deal with large. So maybe also Wolfric's idea was to deal with a lot of the backline infantry. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the backline infantry, in my opinion, is the least of your concern when you're playing Noska, because you can't send Wolfric just on his own, most likely, in the backline, because he will get trapped and killed to death. But again, I do not know. I mean, it sounds like just the fact that he has a little bit more armor, that he can still deal with the infantry. He was able to, for example, kill the halberds pretty quickly. Sounds like a nice pick. I'm very surprised, I must say. I'm very surprised.
I mean, that's good. I mean, if we look on the flip side, Damsel got 900, so there's only one Dweller's Blow that I saw. Didn't really see many Earthbloods, but then, of course, if you're going to go the healing route, you certainly need a longer game there. There's not very many staying troops outside of the Knights of the Realm. I'd even say the Wardens of Montfort, and then 500 for the Mountain Yeoman Archers. I feel like he kind of went a bit of a hybrid build. Like, he kind of had tools to deal with everything, but if one build, like we saw here with the green one, went one strategy, which was, layered builds with anti-large infantry to deal with mass horsemen, he didn't really have an answer. Like, he tried to deal with skirmish, he tried to deal with quite a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult match. It can be difficult if you want to meme as Bretonia. There's some very effective ways, but like Pantalonnade at some points, he tried to make it, But I mean, still very nice display. Also, by the way, what do you think about Frog in this matchup?
Thronk, I actually think that it's one of the few matchups I quite like him in. He has Frostbite, he's anti-large, armor piercing, a regen as well, so he can keep up with quite a few of the lords. And actually, do you know what? I don't hate him against Thay.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I really think Wolfric sucks and he is not really pleasant to watch. But Frog, on the other hand, like being able to vomit on things and just be like actually a good duelist, I think it has potential. It has potential, and in this matchup in particular, I bring him for the fact that you have Frostbite in your lines with him.
Yeah.
I also believe on the same style that the Norscan Ice Wolves chariots are pretty good in this matchup.
Oh, interesting. Most people consider them to be a bit of a meme, bit garbage.
Yeah, you would think so, but then like it has more speed and also it applies Frostbite. So you have basically for 150 more, you have a chariot unit that can that has about the same capabilities, fighting capabilities as a normal chariot, but also is able to fight more mobility-centric fights. You know. So
Yeah. So for the next game, we have a bit of a treat. So we have a really nice matchup with Dark Elves coming up against the Empire. Now this is a bit of a treat because this game can go in. I think it's quite a wide matchup. I think there's quite a few things you can do here. It's a pretty difficult one. I wouldn't really know which side I would prefer to be on. I assume you'd like the Empire side.
I do not mind either of those. I guess I'm more familiar with Empire, so might as well just go for it. Yeah.
So a quick question from chat. So how did the Norscan Spearmen do? Norscan Spearmen did quite well. So the nice strategy here, Mr. Casual, from the green one is he actually had them Marauder Spears alongside his Vermeer Warriors with the anti-large and armor piercing. So the Marauder Spears took the charge from the Horsemen, but then over the top came the Great Weapons, which did most of the damage. So they were buffered chaff, but they come with bonus versus large. I normally prefer just your regular Marauders, but here I think they were used to some pretty decent effect, I must say.
Yeah. I think Spearmen are okay-ish. The Marauder Spearmen are okay-ish.
I think they're like okay. I think they have like a very rare pick.
Niche use, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, what do you think this comes down to? So, of course, Marathi's probably going to be in and around the question, but what else do you think with this matchup?
That's okay. For the Empire side, you do not have many ways of playing it efficiently if you really want to try hard. But again, this is Pantalonnade and TheGreenOne, so we never know. But if you want to try hard, I suggest that there's only really one way to play it, and it's with a lot of cavalry. Like 4 Pistoliers, 4 Knights, you try to have a cheap front line, and you have to contest the mobility because most likely the infantry fight doesn't matter, you'll lose it. So, and for the Dark Elves, you have several ways to play it. That's why it's probably a little bit favorable for Dark Elves again, but we'll see. You can either go for defensive posture, or you can also play with the Scourge Runners. There's many ways.
And what's your preferred way of playing this?
In my you rush. In my opinion, when you don't know what you're doing, like when you have not a real clue, whatever is the best solution, you go for a rush. It's the simpler the better. Because, you will rushing against defensive faction. It will always work. You can go for other things, but you'll have to try it out. So if it's your first encounter of this matchup, you just rush. And you go for Scourge Runners, you go for a lot of Dark Riders, it's very important.
Okay.
And maybe a Manticore, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, for those that are in chat, I have left a link there to your channel. I assume you're on the ODM Total War Warhammer channel, aren't you?
Yes.
Sweet.
So I'm not. I'm currently streaming for ODM, but it might change. Like it might be over clan members that will sub in whenever I'm not there. So yeah, it's our clan Twitch channel. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so
what about your link? I've got very few viewers, and I'm very humble, but I can always put it there.
So if we go with the Empire, we've got double archers here at the front. Looks like we've got some Knights of the Blazing Sun. A unit of the Sterling's Revenge. Looks like we've gone for the immune to psychology, armor-piercing, sort of short-ranged pistoliers. We have some halberds here in the front, bringing anti-large and armor-piercing, and then some spearmen, regular swordsmen, and then we're going to be having Volkmar the Grim, Gotrek, and the Grey Wizard. Interesting. So the Grey Wizard here with Pit of Shades and the Melkor's Mystify Miasma. Gotrek is going to be naked, and then we are going to have Volkmar on his warrior shrine. So we're going to have Grand Soulfire, the Grand Shield of Faith, the Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Banishment, and the Jade Griffin. What's your thought of the army setup?
Oh, it's interesting. Very melee-centric, it seems. He doesn't want to let the melee fight go for his opponent. I think Gotrek is a little bit of a questionable pick if you're not playing with a light wizard, because it's very difficult to catch things up. But I guess he's bringing him so he can protect his Grey Wizard from a Doom Squad, a Manticore Moati.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I must say I'm not very convinced. And from Dark Elf side, I suppose it's just very regular. For
very
Dark
standard.
Riders, yeah, for Dark Riders, always bring 4 of them against the matchup, and yeah, he went for a more defensive posture, so it's not a rush. He didn't get punished also because there's very few units that are ranged. So I mean, there will be very little he can.
So I've got an interesting point here from Loopy. Loopy's saying if you're going to go for a melee rush build, you kind of want Burning Head. And I think up against Dark Elves, that's quite justified. Of course, only 30 armor there for the Dread Spears and Dread Swords. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
True. I guess he's going for Pit of Shades instead, because he was expecting maybe the dark the courses.
Right.
But yeah, I would agree. Burning Head is probably still the better option.
So we see a bombardment here coming down from Marathi on the Sterling's Revenge. Pretty nice work there, killing off 11 models. In the backside, we've got double Manticore and Marathi going down. Usual stuff for her, Soul Stealer, and then we're also going to be having all those debuffs. We are going to have some Witch Elves in the front, double repeater crossbows, so not going for the rush, going more for the sort of bolt up against the Righteous Man of Sigmar.
Oh, this Dark Riders in the center trying to push through the lines. It's a little bit of a suicide, but again, it seems that the cavalry has too much to do right now, so he didn't get punished from sending the Dark Riders in the middle.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised we're not going to be shooting those with the archers, so we are going to get a Grand Soulfire here from Volkmar. All of the abilities going down, so damage resistance, melee attack buffs. Marathi is in the pocket with Soul Stealer, trying to take down the Knights of the Blazing Sun.
Yes, and there's also one thing, like one thing that is actually dreadful for the Empire to play against is I do not know how he will kill the 2 Manticores plus Moati with this setup. You will really need the Sterling's Revenge to be up, or maybe a unit of Halberdiers, but I'm not sure. It seems very
there's difficult. A bit of a mistake here in the back. We see the Grey Wizard from GreenOne going to be kind of hanging around in the middle. He's kind of on his own there. Gotrek did leave him. He got rampaged by the Sisters, which I think is a pretty nice play. They're going to keep Gotrek busy, and of course he's got no armor, so they'll take them down pretty quickly there.
Oh my god, yeah, as you said, it sounds very, very bad for Gotrek. And desperately the Empire player is trying to catch off guard the Dark Elf player with his cavalry going on the flanks, but it's a bad move, generally speaking. It's only a unit that costs 500 and he can always get out, so
yep.
It sounds very difficult for him now.
So archers breaking, they're going to be getting terrified here. And it looks like we're also going to be losing the Sterling's Revenge. Now we do see a Pit of Shades at the front here. That's coming down on the Spearmen, the Bleak Swords and the Witch Elves. Pretty nice there on top of Gotrek, but you've lost Gotrek here for nothing, which is a bit of a shame there from the GreenOne.
Yeah, I realized that Gotrek could have been his winning condition against such a squad. Now
Yeah.
he's gonna have a lot of trouble. Again, not impossible to play, but now he's in a bad posture.
We now got a bit of a goon squad here. Double Manticores and Marathi going up against Volkmar the Grim in the middle. No real support for him. We have a couple of Halberds, but we are going to be getting a Soul Sealer going down, which is...
Oh god, this Soul Stealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And then we have Dark Repeater Crossbows over the top, shooting into Volkmar, doing very, very good damage. In the backside, the bolts also going ham here, all over the face of the Knights of the Blazing Sun.
So Pantalonnade decided he had enough. He was trying to meme the first game, and then he went with the belt for the second round.
Of course. So, yeah, I think that's going to be all she wrote here for this game. It's been a very, very good one. I mean, the Spearman... I think Gotrek was a nice pick. I'm a bit surprised. I think actually the Grey Wizard is more of a question mark for me than Gotrek. I think Gotrek has some really nice abilities up against the Manticores, and that he can thump them down pretty quickly. In the back, though, we are going to see a Pit of Shades going down on the Dark Riders, but... Oh no, that's a bit of a bait there. Oh, very nice.
Look at this unit of knights in the back of the Empire. He's chasing 2 Dark Riders that are fleeing. They are basically doing a walk around, you know. They decided they had enough, so they wanted some break from the Empire army.
Hey, Karadok, how are we doing? Yes, and we missed it actually, but Gotrek did pop. He actually got the 50% coin flip. He did actually get a heal off there, so he came back and beat back these sisters. So Volkmar, I think, is the right pick here. He's definitely a big sponge, but he only got 900 value, which is a bit of a shame. Gotrek only getting 300 and then 190 for the Grey Wizard.
Yes, the wizard was a bit questionable, I guess. Or I guess he was misused.
I think the Grey Wizard didn't, for me, quite fit in with the playstyle. I think you're right. You had to go with the Wizard of Light Magic, or you had to go with Burning Head. So you need a net of Amatox, so you get your maximum use out of Gotrek, because in that way, your Marathi Double Manticore really have to be careful where they decide to attack.
Oh, we didn't really realize it at first, but swordsmen were chevrons, like rank 7. Well, I guess it was his winning play to fight the front line, but it is so scary to do so, because if you're playing against Black Ark Horses, even though I guess it's still a fight, but you're going to lose, and your rank 7 chevrons swordmen, it's just so inefficient to rank your infantry overall.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I would have quite liked him to go a little bit wider with the infantry, maybe bring in more swordsmen. And also, what's your opinion? I mean, also we bought Knights of the Blazing Sun. They do have good magic resistance, but how do you feel about Pistoliers? Or maybe some Outriders? Maybe you could have out-kited the Dark Riders, maybe?
I think, in my opinion, the real problem in the Empire army is Volkmar. It seems very bizarre. Volkmar overall is a very good lord, but I tend to believe that whenever you can't play Volkmar without some support to protect him from threats, it's probably a matchup where he shouldn't be played. And in this case, against you can expect Moati and you can expect some Manticores, and basically if you play Volkmar into it, you have to protect him. But it is so common to see them that I do not believe you will be able to play. You should not be able to play Volkmar. You shouldn't play Volkmar, I should say.
How do you feel about Marcus Warfire? He's got a net, he's got some range tools who can kind of poke and stroke to those Manticores in the sky, maybe even Rampage 1 or 2. And then of course you go Burning Head with Gotrek, so Gotrek protects him, Burning Head helps you win the front line. How do you feel about that? Or would you go with a different lord?
I mean, I tend to believe the best way is the Marshal. The Marshal is definitively like your cheapest option. Basically for 750 you have a good ballist. Like something that will keep up, that can generate like 2000 value in time. So you have some initiative on the battlefield, since with time you will take off some units from your opponents. Like you will generate too much value with him, and you also you are also able to save a lot of money, because
Okay.
I really believe all the laws are not really ideal, except maybe the marshal. I mean, the marshal is not ideal as well, but at least you only pay 750. And if he gets to be jumped on, then it's alright. I say you do not mind too much.
Okay, so let's go over the builds here. So we saw that 900 for Volkmar, 300 for Gotrek, and only 200 there for the Grey Wizard. 480, 260, and only 440 there for the Swordsman. But of course, they came in with the rank 8, which is a bit of an interesting rank, because rank 7 you get, I believe, another Vigor marker, and then you get another Vigor marker at rank 9. So rank 8 seems a bit of a strange ranking there for me. 250, 180, and 400 for the Spearman. 600, 40, and 200 for the Halberds. 400 for the Stellan's Revenge, which is a bit of a shame. 600, 300 for the Knights of the Blazing Sun, really coming under par. 170, 270 there for the Archers. Anything stick out to you?
What sticks out to me is the fact that GreenOne made a very strange army, and it really shows his personality in this game. I mean, his tendencies. He is a very. It's very difficult to map out what he will play against you when you're playing against GreenOne. He has very different styles,
Mm-hmm.
and I suppose he still went for some kind of a rush. But you see, the problem is, it was a failed rush from the beginning. What do you do with his army? What's a major unit that will that will generate enough value? I guess you could argue it's the Stirland's Revenge, but they have only 90 or 80 range. I'm not completely sure. Maybe
90.
more. 90. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what's your initiative on the battlefield? What will make your opponent? What will force your opponent to make mistakes, or what will you do? You know, he only has 2 cavalry to force plays, but the cavalry are so much needed for to protect the back line that it was very hard from the start. So
Yeah, so Loopy's made a very good point there. He said more knights were needed, and perhaps that is the case. Maybe some more Empire Knights rather than Knights of the Blazing Sun, or maybe more Knights of the Blazing Sun. But on the flip side, Marathi 1.5k for her, 970, 1,100 for the Manticores. Manticores, they always hit; they never don't hit here with Marathi. Just due to her debuffs, their great stats and terror really do go far. The Bolt Throwers 500 apiece. So they did okay. 900, 1,000 for the Dark Riders, so pretty decent damage there from them. They did get a bit of poke and stroke there on Gotrek for a short while. Most of the cavalry, 400, 200, 70 and 200. 1.1k for the Witch Elves. They did a bit of a number there on Gotrek, which is really nice to see. And the front line won pretty convincingly, I must say. Considering no Chevrons are involved, Dark Elves have a really cost-efficient front line.
oh yeah, for sure. The only pick I'm not too keen on for the Dark Elf side is the ball throwers. I mean, I think it's the only thing that is a little bit questionable, since it will it's good against very few units, and even against it, it's not the ideal the ideal target. You know, like I guess you could argue that it can fight a cannon, but then again, like a cannon has 440 range. You will not be able to. It will probably be able to trade you at least. And same applies for a lot of things. Like, would you shoot Volkmar with it? I don't think it's worth it, or at least it's not your main source of damage that should kill Volkmar.
No, I think you're right, and I think also that matchup was perfect for the Bolt Throwers. They had really expensive cavalry, they had Volkmar to shoot, they had quite a few targets, yet they still struggled to pay for themselves. So it just shows that I think perhaps in this matchup, maybe one could be justified, but even then, you know, cannons are a really cost-efficient way of dealing with artillery.
Also, what are you the most hyped about for Immortal Empire when it comes out? Actually curious.
I think we know the answer to that question. We're gonna get my boys
I
back.
guess,
We're
I
gonna get
guess,
my
I
boys
guess.
back. We're gonna get the dwarfs. What about you? What about you?
Yeah, yes, fair enough. I'm very excited for the news if we get Kuresh. Like,
Okay.
Kuresh is going to be mwah, mucho bueno. Like, I do not know, I mean, it's not completely confirmed yet, but I tend to believe with what I see that it could work, it could be fleshed out for the game, and the faction has very unique um, designs. It looks it's very pleasing for the eyes, let's say it that way.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Well, we're going to be, I think Hammer of Witches is good here too. Oh, fair enough.
Hammer of Witches is quite nice as well. That's why Hammer of Witches, basically you bring it and it makes ball for play. It counters the ball throws basically, and it's also very good against Malus, Malekith, anything on ground, like almost about anything. Yeah.
I was also thinking with the idea of Loopy, if you bring a Firecaster, not only do you have Burning Head, but you can also take Fireball that could have also dealt with some of those artillery pieces.
That's very true. That's why it's a little bit more versatile, I suppose.
Right, so we're going to be going here. It's going to be one apiece so far, and it's been a bit of a decent series so far. A couple of mistakes here and there, a couple of interesting builds and picks, but that that's exactly what I expect from the Green One. The Green One is he's kind of the anti-style. He likes to bring some awesome things.
I forgot to update my
your Twitch.
I forgot to update the scoreboard. It was 1-0 for Game 1, now it's 1-1, it's gonna be tense.
Mm-hmm. So, for the Green One and the Ratto Goods, we're going to be having 3 of those. In the back, we're going mass Wolf Rats, so 4 Wolf Rats. We're going to be having Clan Rat Spears and Shields, Clan Rats, Plague Monks. So we're going for quite a wide melee rush. Night Runners in the front as well for a bit of Skirmish and Kite. In the backside here, we are going to have the triple threat, so we're going to be having a Plague Priest. And we're going to be bringing Plague Rash, the Pestilence Breath, and Vermintide for the summons. It looks like an Assassin in the front. Let's have a look.
Oh, he teleported his assassins away.
Let's have a look. Where did they go? I can't find them now. Here we go.
It's in the center, yeah.
So we are going to have an Assassin with Slippery, Right of High Talisman, which is a phenomenally good ability. And of course those Concealment Bombs. Deathmaster Snicketch with the Deathmaster Sigil, Concealment Bombs, and then yet again Slippery. So I believe this is a horrible, just terrible matchup for Skaven.
Yes. Oh my god. And they are vanguarding against each other pretty early. Already.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing. So double Waystalker with an Ancient Tree Man here, double Deepwood Scouts, loads of Dryads, and Wild Riders as far as the eye can see, including the Hunters of Kurnos, which are rather powerful indeed.
I would say the Skaven build is experimental but could work. It's not absolutely unable to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Wood Elf side, it is not the perfect build, but for sure it is workable. It's definitively a kind of a tournament build.
Yeah, so I was chatting with Hades and chatting with Human Boy before with some of this matchup, and they said that actually going mass Wolf Rats is a strong way to go in their opinion. So they found that having, sometimes even 6 Wolf Rats can be really nice to kind of counter the kite play of Wood Elves.
The Wood Elf player is playing less efficiently right now compared to the Skaven player because, for example, the Dryads took a fight against the Clan Vulcan slashers,
yep.
The fire damage units. While I think he should have went for a charge, a frontal charge, and now we see some Miss Micro on Pantalonnade side getting caught out with his cavalry on the left flank.
100%, and I really like the Plague Monk pick actually. We see a lot of cavalry on the right is kind of winning, but this left side has really been compromised The double Deepwood Scouts here really falling quite quickly. Good summons in the backside. Pin here of the Waystalker coming from the Assassin. The Deathmaster Sigil doing some really nice work.
Oh my, and you see the problem is he didn't get to kill completely the Plague Priest, so he will get back, and now he's in big trouble. This is quite an achievement to make from the Skaven side to win this matchup, I must say. Because I do believe that this is one of the worst matchups for the Skaven side. So
No, agreed. And in the middle here we have a Waystalker getting compromised again. In the middle we are going to be having debuffs going down. Rifle High Talisman on the Ancient Tree Man. Scroll of Shielding and the Shield of Thorns as a bit of a counter here to that play. Rat Ogre's joining the punch. It's not looking good here. Bands of Power is hating the Wood Elves. Is there any way back into this, do you think?
oh no. I mean, except if GreenOne is taking a quick break and watch a movie while playing the game, I think it's gonna be, and even that is gonna be difficult to even play against it. Like if you give the AI this army, I think it's not it's gonna be very difficult to win now. I think it's not even possible. I mean,
I think here, well, if we look on the right-hand side, the way we could get back into it, we have a lot of Wild Riders that could maybe clear up a lot of the right-hand side here. There are some close Rat Ogres. I just don't know how they deal with 3 Rat Ogres left on the battlefield.
yeah, my main issue is that the Lord is so slow. He cannot escape. So, I mean, he's very tanky, but he will have to protect his Lord by sending his Wild Riders, and that means taking some damage, and he really cannot take in damage now. So
yeah. Well, I mean, GG's well played. I mean, that was a very interesting army from the GreenOne, and yeah, very, very well played. I really like the Plague Monks. I'd love to see their value.
that's actually a very surprising game, I must say. Basically, if you were telling me which side should win, I will tell you that Pantalonnade should be winning first, and secondly, I would probably say that this is very, very high micro-intensive gameplay from the Skaven side, and should be easy to punish from the Wood Elf side, but instead GreenOne pulled up his muscles and showed which side has the biggest micro, you know, because he really just catched off guard with too many of the engagements went favorable for GreenOne, and I really like his strategy. Like it was well done, because literally he made 3 points of pressures in the front line of a Pantalonnade. So he went for 1 Rat Ogres plus 1 Hound on each flanks, which needs like a lot of Wild Riders to counter it, you know. But then at the center he had the Vulcan slasher tails, or whatever they are called, the fire damage clanrats. They are like they will be able to push through the Dryads, and he went for this unit because he knew that they will be able to push quickly the front line. So he supported them even more, and it showed like he literally broke the entire center of the fight. So
Yeah.
well done to him.
Yeah, I think that was really, really good. I think it was a bit of an experimental build there from Pantalonnade. I wouldn't particularly say that was something that I would bring, but it was a very interesting one. I'm just going to quickly say hello to Samric. Hello, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. If you are, do feel free to like and subscribe, and then also check out here with the ODM boys. I will leave the Twitch down there again. Do go over, give them a cheeky follow, and just say what's up. Just say what's up.
Thank you. I do also believe that I mean, it's very glass cannon from the Skaven side to play with such way, simply because the Waystalkers, if you give them enough time, you already saw it during the battle, but basically they can kill so efficiently the Skaven lords on foot. It takes them like maybe, I don't know, 5 shots from both of them to kill a hero or lord. So he had literally 40 seconds because of his concealment bomb. Then he would be in trouble, you know. but he was able to get a fight in 40 seconds time, period of time, and he was able to get it. I mean, to win it. Didn't overforce compared to last time he went with Norska, I suppose. So well done to him.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one with the Wood Elves. I can't help but think that maybe I mean I think there's maybe two ways you can play this. I think I don't know how effectively you can out kite Skaven. That wouldn't be the way I go. I normally go mass rush with quite a lot of infantry, dryads as well in Vanguard, and I try and just overwhelm with cheap cavalry as well. I just basically try and overwhelm the Skaven as much as possible. But we can see here that 1,000 and 1,400 gold for the Wolf Rats probably shows, you know, maybe what Hadries and what Humor Boy were really talking about with how well the Wolf Rats can really perform here in this matchup.
Yes, for sure. I'm starting to talk like a Skaven, getting my roots back. But yeah, I think Wolf Rats it's kind of a very strange unit, because I do feel it's an underrated unit in the Skaven roster, and at the same time they deserve a buff. The Skavens right now, the Wolf Rats, they have a very unique unit in like in this game, since literally it's probably the highest unit, damage dealer unit out of all the things you can get for 550. Because of the way the arms are surrounding the units and taking fights. Basically, if they get to unit of infantry, instead of crashing the first line to the first line, they get to in the center of the formation, then they start fighting, you know. So they have a little bit, they do a lot more damage because of that, because a lot of more models are attacking at the same time, but they also take a lot more damage. And in the case of these units, they have so little leadership that if they really need a lot of support to make it work, it's very strange, like hyper carry slash very cheap units. And I tend to believe they need to reverse the nerf on their leadership they made a while back during the DLC.
Well, here's the interesting thing going forward for Skaven is that the really nice thing about the Wolf Rats is they have a really good application in Warhammer 3. So if we take demons, for example, that have, you know, abundance of physical resistance, you have good armor-piercing Wolf Rats, and then you also have good magical Wolf Rats that I think are going to be very versatile in quite a few different matchups. And I think there was a similar approach here where you had certainly the big hitters, the Rat Ogres, over the top of the Wolf Rats. On those flanks that you were saying. So I think that you know, for Wolf Rats, I think they are still quite powerful, but maybe a leadership buff could be in order, but they are expendable. So if they do break, they don't affect the leadership of surrounding units. So I think I don't know. I think it's definitely an interesting argument to make.
It's an interesting. I mean, my take might not be the most accurate one, because I'm a little bit Skaven biased. But that being said, I've been playing them a lot, and the thing is, I do tend to believe that this unit deserves to be in pack, you know. But yeah. You really cannot play it in a lot of matchups, simply because you know that whenever they get below like a certain threshold, and against most factions, you basically it's a one-time uses right now, these units. If they get a fight and if they get attacked, you lose them. But it's even more than that, like they basically rout to anything, and that's not too much of a problem whenever you play with in other factions. But in this case, it's pretty bad, because you actually cannot support them very well whenever you're playing Skaven.
Okay,
but, yeah,
well,
debatable.
For the next matchup, we've got a very interesting. We have Chaos going up against Dwarfs. This is a really interesting matchup that I actually believe is quite heavily Dwarf favoured. What's your thoughts?
Oh yeah, I do believe GreenOne got in trouble on this one, especially because I think we've been playing this matchup like 10 times in a row with Pantalonnade recently. So yeah. It's it's gonna be bad for him because basically, in my opinion, whenever you're playing Chaos in this matchup, you have to make a choice. Either you want to play against Gyros or you want to play against a normal army.
Yeah.
On the dwarf side.
If
you lose a bet, you lose a game.
I don't put Pantalonnade down as a... Oh! I was about to say I don't put him down as a gyro man, but I am wrong!
I know the man. He basically we've been playing it too much, and he went from being a normal Dawi guy to
Chad. A Chad is what we call him.
Nah, a dirty gyrocopter abuser.
Well, here's the thing, and this is the thing about gyrocopters. Gyrocopters will either win you or lose you the game. That's just how they work. That's how they go. They're a big risk, but also a big reward. And in this case, we're going to see a little Soul Demon Hell Cannon as perhaps a counter here up against the Gyro play. Now, if we look into the Chaos build, we can see Marauder Horseman. No throwing axes, but Marauder Horseman will be a good counter. Spirit Leech here could be very good up against the Dwarves. We have Chosen, Mirror Guard, more Chosen, Great Weapon Marauders, and then in the sky we're going to have an Exalted Hero on a Manticore, a Chaos Sorcerer Fire Magic on a Manticore, with Fireball, Cascading Fire Cloak, Arcane Conduit, and Kindle Flame. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Double cannons, actually. I do apologise. Double cannons. I think this is going to be harder for the Dwarfs than we realise, because we've got 4 gyrocopters here in the sky, including the Regiment of Renown here, the Skyhammer. We have Norgrimling Ironbreakers, Ironbreakers, nice box here with Giant Slayers, a Master Engineer, which is always a solid pick, and then Thoric Ironbrow on foot, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, so... I mean, it's a beautiful box with 4 gyros, what can I say? Oh, wait! He got Hell Cannon. Yeah,
he has 2 Hell Cannons.
So who knows?
Well, we're going to have to really get those gyrocopters forward and dealing with those Hell Cannons. If we do not deal with those Hell Cannons ASAP, there's a beautiful box in the back is certainly going to be challenged.
My issue is I don't see how he kills out all the gyros before they get to the Hell Cannon, and it seems like
Marauder Horseman possibly.
First Hell Cannon right now.
So
yeah, I mean, the horsemen are misplaced in the first place. They should have been all on the Hell Cannons, trying to at least force his opponents not to be careful on the approach. But now it's gonna be difficult.
I think they needed to be ready for some sort of gyro play here, but we can see quite a bit of damage on the gyro bombers in the front. I think a bit of a misplay here from the copters. They're going to be shooting up against Marauder Horsemen. They need to probably prioritise that Hell Cannon in the back.
Yes, it seems like it doesn't really care about the Hell Cannon, and I guess, I mean, the Hell Cannon did very pitiful damage so far, but yeah, he's getting out with his artillery crew, but
look at this in the backside. 2 Marauder Horsemen. Give it a bit of poke and stroke here up against the Giant Slayers. It's going to be a bit of a tit-for-tat trade here in the backside.
Yes, you know what? I believe TheGreenOne to still be favored right now, because he has been literally expecting the gyros, and he made his entire build around it, and I still think he has what it takes to kill it.
So we've lost 1 horseman, which is a pretty big loss. I like the fact that we've dropped the cannon crew here away from the Hell Cannon, which is pretty decent there, meaning we're not going to take too much damage on the Hell Cannon itself. And now we've pushed back the gyrocopters. This is where it gets a bit difficult for the Dwarfs.
Yeah, also there's a good unit of Marauder Horsemen that is poking at Giant Slayers, and it's pretty bad for Pantalonnade. He needs to get some of his miners to face...
yes. So we can see here that this is obviously quite a micro-intensive build. You can see, he has certainly been taxed here at the front with his gyrocopters.
Yeah, for sure.
And spreading the build out like this has made it really difficult to keep on top of that micro, whilst keeping the gyrocopters alive, keeping his slayers alive. Also pressuring 2 sides of the map is really, really difficult.
I mean, if this build from GreenOne, if it is not dealing with what Pantalonnade is bringing, then probably you cannot really win against a good, competent gyro player. So, I hope that GreenOne is winning, or else it means that Chaos is even more in trouble than we would have thought.
Well, here we go. So pretty nice builds. We're going to get a rune of slowness going down on the Fire Lord, and now we're going to be shooting with the Skyhammer. This thing has 1,500 missile strength with brilliant armor piercing, getting chased by the gyrocopters that also have bonuses large with their shots. This is looking pretty meaty here. Looks like Pantalonnade is going to be taking a big win in the front.
That's pretty sad for, yeah. I mean, okay, I think it wasn't really his fault. He tried to align for some of his spells maybe, or maybe cast a fireball on the side, but yeah, he really shouldn't do that because it's very punishable from the dwarf side of things. And my issue is if he cannot mount on his L cannons because it's too difficult to protect it, then how will he kill the Iron Breakers?
This is true.
I cannot think of something that could work right now, but I could be wrong.
So here's one thing I think is a mistake as well. He's really trying to spread his force and protect everything. I really think he has to get his horseman, his lord, get it all together and focus on one gyrocopter first. Take down that first one, move to the next one, take down the next one. I think if he tries to protect everything, he's going to lose everything.
I guess there's one thing to consider. Like, so, okay, GreenOne literally coin flipped the game already, because I tend to believe against the 20 stack or whatever, like normal dwarf army, you'll be in trouble regardless.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he will advance on you, you'll have very little to work on. But if he goes for a full anti-gyro build, which is quite what it took, like, the problem is he also needs to deploy like if he was going against gyros, which means he should have deployed with the two L cannons close together, because in that case how would you be able to pressure one L cannon without getting the 4 horsemen on you, you know? He will be able to centralize his assets so he doesn't have to cover everything, you know? And I think it should have been the way, but
we can now see here with this spread out force, he's now taken 2 horsemen off. He's going to be shooting the 3rd, if not the 4th here actually. I think that is the 4th and final horseman. That one there is going to be breaking, and the gyrocopters can now just push this horseman off. And one thing that might be interesting for the newer viewers is the nice ability here of the Skyhammer. The Skyhammer has a nice suppressed ability that can also slow down these flying units. So although we're going to be quite fast with the Exalted Hero, he's going to be getting slowed by the gyro bomber. So now they're going to be shooting the hero, pushing him off the edge of the map, and really good divide and conquer coming from the dwarfs.
yeah, also you have to take into account that whenever you play against a gyro dwarf box style of play, waiting is generally not in your favor, because he will get more munitions with time. So I mean, you can win like if you have more firepower, but at equal firepower or less firepower than your opponent dwarf. It's gonna be very hard. Like, you shouldn't wait too long, and in this case it's probably already lost. I tend to believe that GreenOne didn't really test his build before playing, because
I would tend to agree.
The L cannon is really not working.
Yeah, so like the Hell Cannon's gone down. You can see that the build is quite well oiled here from Pantalonnade, because he's been attacking the right things, bringing it down with good efficiency, and you can tell from the GreenOne he's been kind of like, oh, maybe I should be here, then changing his mind and going over there, and kind of hasn't isolated and dealt with any particular problems. He's still got 4 gyros on the pitch, and then we're going to be having a nice box here in the middle. I think he's done really well, Pantalonnade. You can tell this is a well-oiled build.
Yeah, and you see, like, I guess one comfortable thing about all of this for GreenOne is the fact that Pantalonnade used his Dawi for this, you know, so he will not have to face Dawi more, which is kind of nice, I suppose.
But Chaos is a very strong pick here in the meta of the game. So maybe it is a bit sad to lose this strong faction up against his dwarfs.
Actually, do we have the record on what were the bans, the picks, and such?
We can go through that afterwards. Yeah, I've got them in the Discord. But yeah, I think it's also quite interesting here. Like we also have a mirror guard pick, which I think is really bold. You know, they pay for immune to psychology, they pay for very high melee defense, but they don't really strike me as, you know, they've got okay melee stats, attack stats, but I don't think they're a particularly good pick here up against the dwarfs. I don't know what your thought on that is.
I do believe it's debatable, yeah, for sure. It's not the worst, by any means. It's like the worst pick, but would you play with Chaos? Okay, regardless of whether they have immune to psychology or not, would you play with Chaos Warriors with shields in the first place? That's the real question you have to ask. It's probably not the way to go, and yeah, it is not. In my opinion, it shouldn't be played, but there's very little, like any infantry unit from the Chaos side is not ideal against the dwarves. Basically, the Chaos Warriors with great weapon have a tendency to not be able to cut through long birds, and it's just difficult for them to actually make their value back. They struggle. They cannot push efficiently, so you get shot by the backline of the dwarf, and you get it's not possible. And the Chaos Warriors with great, like the Chaos Marauders with great weapons, are just trash. Like overall, they are cost inefficient.
Yeah, this is true.
So then you only have great Chosens. In my opinion, Chosens with great weapons are actually decent in this matchup and should be played a decent amount. It's either that or Forsaken, and you go for Plague of Frost.
I think in this build, I think actually the best way I've seen it is Chosen great weapons mixed with a lot of Marauders and Marauder great weapons, and then you normally go Double Manticore and some caster. I actually quite like Sartorial in this matchup personally. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting one for sure, and I think that yeah, if we look at the build here, we've got the 0 on the Exalted Hero, 300 from the Chaos Sorcerer of Fire, no value, like 70, 50, 80 from the Marauder Great Weapons, 200 from the Chosen, 350 from the Chosen. They are a really expensive pick, 120 from the Mirror Guard, 500, 40, 300, 500 there from the Marauder Horseman, 700 and then 300 from the Regiment of Renowned Hell Cannon. So there was some synergy here from the build that I think, you know, maybe wasn't tested so much. The synergy didn't seem there for the build, and I think it tried to do a bit of both. It tried to deal with gyrocopters, but I'm not too convinced about the rest of the build.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. I think it was an experiment that failed, but it's not like, I mean, it is debatable. Again, I'm very scared now, because if GreenOne cannot win against gyrocopters with such builds, it's probably not winning against most. He might have played it wrong. That's the only saving grace I can give him.
There was some misplays there, I think, for sure. And I think he also, you can tell in his setup that he wasn't sure what was coming.
He was not confident at all, yeah.
And you can see that in his build design, I feel, as well. I think you either have to go full melee rush against the dwarves, or you have to go complete counter against gyros. You have to predict one, and the only way Chaos can win is if they get the right pick. Which is why I think this is a very dwarf-favoured matchup.
Yeah, I also, for those who are wondering why this is a good dwarf matchup, because let's say this so the gyro way is the way to go. Then you could argue that going for 6 horsemen like would be enough, which is the case. Like you'll probably win with more horsemen. I think the Hell Cannons were a waste, but you tweak the build, you get the Chosens with great weapons instead of like the Chosens, the normal ones, and you get 6 horsemen. Then I guess you're just fine against Pantalonnade's build. But the problem is, you're absolutely destroyed. Like absolutely destroyed against 20 stack build.
Yes.
Even if you were trying to, the problems with the 20 stack build or the normal army from the dwarf without the gyros basically is there is very little you can do whenever it comes to playing against giant slayers, because basically they will kill very efficiently the chaos warriors with great weapons. They will kill very efficiently a lot of things. They go on the front line. They will the dwarf player will swap. They will do some infantry manipulation on your lines, and it is just very hard to avoid it. And you're left with some holes in your rush, and you can't really the problem is after they get to a unit of chaos warriors with great weapon or whatever, the giant slayers will start uh, going back on the front line, and even if there is like 10 models of it uh, against a unit of Manticore, Slay, whatever, like any large units, it's gonna deal a lot of damage. It's very terrible to play against.
Well, if we look at the dwarf build, so 2,500 from the Skyhammer, really great performance. 870, 1,600, and 800 from the gyrocopter. So the gyrocopter build paid for itself very comfortably. And the even scarier thing about gyrocopters for Game 3 is the fact that they can also descend and ascend from the floor. So in this game, you can only go down if you attack a unit on the floor. In Warhammer 3, you can actually go up and down. You can actually purposefully put yourself on the floor. So if you've got javelins or throwing axes, dodging is going to be really good in Warhammer 3. Giant Slayers didn't do too much. 43 there for the Longbeards, 160 for the Miners, with 500, 500, and 500 for the Ironbreakers, 680 there for the Master Engineer, and 114 for Ironbrow.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to go on to Eshin next.
What's the matchup next? It seems like it's
Mirror
Beastman
match.
versus Beastman.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that whilst I quickly use the bathroom. So if you go ahead, tell people what you think about the matchup.
Okay. I'll
You'll take over.
yeah. Okay. No worries. So a very technical matchup, and I do believe the more you invest in infantry, the more you lose. So going for no infantry could be a play, or very little. You see, you generally see 8 Santigos from both sides, or a lot of Santigos at least. Maybe not 8, but probably at least 6 of them. Two throwing axes, 4 normal ones. If you win the mobility fight, you win the game. There's an argument to be made that chaos spawns are quite efficient, because they can help the fight, the single entity fights, basically. So again, debatable. You have to you really need to have some good grip on the mechanics of the units. It's so fast that like the matchup is so fast, you really need to know what's going on and if you can trade or not. So this matchup in particular, I would argue, if you want to go for to play in the competitive scene right now, okay, without Warhammer 3 coming out and such, because it might change the balance and of things and such, but right now you should really learn this matchup, because this is the best faction in the game currently, and it is also quite common to see people playing Beastmen on Beastmen, countering Beastmen on Beastmen, simply because it might not be their best faction, but uh, they know that they can discard this faction since it's not their main ones, while they have some chances to win it since it's a mirror. While with other matchups against Beastmen, it tends to be very difficult, more or less. There's some counters to the Beastmen, but they get banned very early, generally speaking. So. Also, traitor kings always bring it, no matter what. If you have a cav fight, don't overthink it. Just bring the traitor king caster, and you're fine. The traitor king is basically final transmutation. I mean, okay, maybe not as punishing, but it is very punishing still. So Torx on this matchup is debatable also.
Alrighty. So we're back. Software on game 3 is going to be very good, Mr. Loopy. It's going to be very, very good indeed. Ba-ba-ba. Lovely stuff. Don't know where...
What's the first campaign you will play,
nice,
Logic, by the way?
The first campaign will probably be Grombrindle.
I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough. I was expecting it, I'll be honest. Okay, Grombrindle, and I suppose your first move will be to capture Malekith, or do you want to make an alliance with him?
I will kill him. I will slaughter him.
I'm actually curious if you can make it. If you could pull up an alliance with with Malekith as Grombrindle.
I would imagine probably not. I mean, he was so vengeful he came back from the grave. Like, probably not. I'm gonna imagine. Probably not.
Could be quite a challenge for someone if you to play to try to get the alliance.
So we're gonna ask the question: who is going to win? Is it gonna be the Beastmen, or is it gonna be the Men Beast?
I've got a funny story about one of our members. His name is Razor, and he has been a Beastman main since the creation of the.
I know him.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, you casted a game or two with him, I'm sure. And he's very good Beastman player, except against when he's playing in Clan Wars, but that's something else, like I suppose. But anyway, he was playing on a French stream, like on a French YouTuber stream, and the YouTuber kept saying a weird the Beastman in French, okay?
Yeah.
But since he was saying it wrong, it sounded like he was calling them the Dickman, which was kind of funny. So he kept his title. He kept it in our Discord. Yeah.
Fantastic!
Yeah, so.
I love it. Absolutely love that. So if we look here on both builds, we're going to be seeing Gorbel and Doomball here on one side, going up against Turos the Brass Boy with double Gorgon and then also a Bray Shaman of Wild. Damn, okay. The Brass Boy is coming here. Have you seen him at the front? He's going straight after that Doomball.
I mean, okay. I do believe, I could be wrong, but I do believe GreenOne's idea is more competitive. That being said, the thing is, he seems to take the wrong engagements with his troops, so I do not know for sure.
I think here Turox is... Two Gorgons are very scary in this matchup. So we've seen the backsides here. Ungor Herd's getting broken from Pantalonnade. This mass force of just Centaurs dawning all over the front of these throwing axes of Pantalonnade is scary. This man's micro is ridiculous.
I mean, okay, right as we are saying that, he's just playing poorly the Centaurs. I'm talking about Pantalonnade right now. He's having trouble maneuvering with... But it's expected, I'll be honest, because there's so much more mobility on GreenOne side. That's the problem.
I think most of this is going to come down to the Behemoth. I think the Behemoth here will either win or lose this game. I think he will either destroy the hero core of GreenOne and get on top with Terra, or he's going to lose just to mass Centaur play.
Yeah. One good thing about for Pantalonnade's chances is about that the fact that there is no throwing axis on GreenOne side.
Yes.
And generally, you want to get some throwing axis just in case, you know, like just in case you see such build being played against you, because for sure it can be difficult to play against 2 Gorgons without Pew Pew.
So we've also got the Butchers of Kalkengard, so lots of armor piercing, good regen, and these models are scary. They thump down single entities like they don't even exist. Now we're going to see the Doom Ball getting out there. It's a bit of a running show here for the hero core of the green one, but yeah, this is looking easy. We're very lucky yeah, you're right, there's no throwing axes from the green one, because that would very much punish this build.
That's the thing. That being said, without support, I tend to believe the Gorgons are going to struggle. But it seems he has been stabilizing his backline. I mean, Pantalonnade has been stabilizing his backline. He has some Santigos, never mind. Right as I'm saying that, there's hounds that are catching them, and
Boys and more hounds are all over the backside. I think it's now going to come down to how well can you deal with this hero core. Now the Butchers of Kalkengard are taking quite a bit of punishment. We see a beautiful Traitor King going down. Now that is going to certainly bring Pantalonnade down to size. Oh, actually, no, that's going to be on the green one there. Beg your pardon. That's going to be catching quite a few units. I thought that was the other way round. I thought, actually, the Traitor King going on the single entities might have been quite nice.
I mean, I do not know who is going to win it. I tend to believe right now it should be favored for green one. But then again, you never know.
I don't know. I think actually you got to be surprised. Like the Behemoth has got some really good healing. If he can take down these models, most of his infantry is just going to get terror outed, I think.
Torox needs to die since he's getting isolated, and Santigos need to peel off the Gorgons. But again, oh, you know what? He got out a little bit, maybe.
Torox is very stuck. He needs his Gorgons to get in there and start punching a hole for him to get out, because he's taking way too much damage and he has no healing, so it's going to be pretty scary.
There's too much support from the side of Green One, and so, he's starting to use Devolved again and again, and this is very, very brutal for Green One Pantalonnade's ability to hit things. So,
I think you are right. I think that is going to be, that Devolve really has nerfed Torox there. Torox is going to be going down. I believe that is going to be a GG's here for the green one. He's played that quite nicely, actually, I must say.
Yeah, he's on a winning streak. I must say he's
going to have to be careful.
Accurate. He's very accurate on his calls. So very good stuff for him.
I was a bit surprised that the Behemoths didn't really take down the hero core as quickly as I thought they would.
Gorgon are a little bit of a trash unit, single entity wise. Like, they tend to have weird animation where they get stuck on a lot of things, so you believe they are fighting, but they are not really fighting because they have things in front of them. And you also have like a tendency to not hit things overall. Yeah.
Well, it looks like here we are going to go down with Torox. It looks like the Doom Ball is going to be joining, but we have some Poison More Hounds. They could save the Lord here. Balance of Power is still going to be holding. This Gorgon has terror in his back pocket. We kill the Butchers of Kalkengard. Nah, Butchers are just doing so much work here up against the Gorgon. Yeah, very, very good stuff.
Good unit. You're right on this one. I mean, I knew they were good, but not that good. I guess you had some experience about the matchup in some sort of way.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of practice here with Beastmen up against Beastmen. It's quite a common matchup, I think.
Yeah, for sure it is.
I think that I was a bit surprised that there's no Manticores here today. I think Manticores normally can certainly play quite a strong element in this matchup.
That's also a thought I've been. That's a question I've been asking myself as well, because I do believe Manticores are very needed in this matchup. And I guess it's not really the case. I mean, thing is, Manticores they are great to like force a fight with Santigos on the side, so you can tear out them and such. I guess for Pantalonnade he went for Gorgon, so he didn't need to get the Manticores, since he could have played the Gorgons on the side and protecting the Santigos and tear outing the blobs. But the
interesting thing here is they're going to be healing here though, the Gorgons. We've got to be careful because... Nah, there we go. Okay, that should be the win.
Nah, that should be the win. And Yeah, again, for game 1, no terror from his side except for the butchers of Kalkengard, but I guess it's all you need to make it work. So.
No, 100%. I think Butchers, they do have some very key matchups. This one being certainly one of them, I think. The thing here is whether you can keep them alive or not. Because if you keep their model count high, they're extremely good single entity snipers.
Yeah, it's true.
Any Warhammer 2 tournaments in the near future? I don't know how to answer that without saying stuff that I shouldn't say. The answer is going to be no. Because early access is close around the corner for me. So I am. Do you know what? What I'll do is I'll say yes. I will put on some ones because of course we've still got some time before the game goes live. But there won't be any Warhammer 3, so I'll say yes to Warhammer 2 tournaments.
I can personally talk about some ODM stuff that are coming on.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
I think we are going to whenever Immortal Empires comes out, we will have a series of tournaments running. So we want to try out basically pick and ban systems that could work on 25 factions with different set of rules and such for land battles.
Lovely. So only land battles? You're going to do domination as well?
We will do also domination. There's a strange. Sometimes I've been some people have been asking if ODM is only about land battles, but we do both, and we have also great domination players. So we might also play domination, but for now, I suppose for domination, at the current state of the mode, we can't expect to draw conclusions and set rules on what it is currently domination mode right now. So we wait for it and we go for land battles and we try to fix it so we have good systems running. Maybe the old system is fine as well. We just want to make sure we don't miss something out. So we'll have a Total War Warhammer 2 tournament probably before Immortal Empire comes out, and we will probably also have tournaments running in the after Immortal Empire comes out, but we will see about it. It's nothing planned for the Warhammer 3 tournaments.
Excellent. Well, I mean, there we go, guys. That's going to be that. So if you guys want to get involved, we'll be... and if you need any links to the ODM guys and their stuff, I'll be leaving it at the end of the stream. So for you guys here, we have the Doom Ball. Doom Ball came in at 1.2k, rather good stuff. Not excellent, but 1.2 as well for the Brave Shaman. So if we compare it to the Brave Shaman on the other side, so the Brave Shaman did outperform on the GreenOne side, so 1,000 up against 1,200. Doom Ball also coming in at 1.2k. Now this was a really powerful element that we've certainly seen in the newer meta of the game when we had the Silence and the Fury, that Doom Balls really have made a bit of a comeback. You know, they certainly used to be very powerful in the old days when we used to have... I can't remember, they used to have an ability that used to give them melee defense, armor, and healing, which used to be very strong. But we haven't seen them since then. That was, you know, maybe a year ago now. But Gore Balls, yeah, very powerful here in the meta. Really good front line, doing pretty decent damage. 3s to 200s, some in the 400s as well. Centigores, 500s, 1,600 as well, 350 and 770 for the Tuskers. Now, of course, maybe you'll back me up on this as well, but I think having Perfect Vigor on Cavalry is immense. Like, if you look at the Cavalry stats, Cavalry really deplete extremely quickly to an exhausted state, so having Perfect Vigor is so nice for Cavalry. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I do agree. Also about the Doom Bull, there are, I just want to jump on it because it's actually interesting what you've been saying. It is true that like they have been quite absent in the competitive scene, but since Torox got out, you have units that can have that can match the speed of Torox and has the same, I guess, same patterns, same mechanics, same movements as Torox. So. Yeah. Whenever you get them into a fight, it can be very strange to manipulate a lot of single entities at once and have them having different speeds and different animations and different way of behaving. which makes it difficult sometimes to take fights because you don't really see what's going on, and sometimes you end up having a unit that is engaging way before the others and such. Having a Doom Bull makes it so you have two units that have about the same patterns, and they are able to help each other's a nice way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's really good, especially from a micro perspective and an understanding of the game. If you've got two units at the same speed that perform the same, then you know it makes it a lot better there on the mental space as well as the micro. There's a really interesting thing here for you. Tell Alfredinho to DM me if he needs some people for testing for rules, etc. That's from Caradoc from
Oh,
VM.
nice.
Yeah, Caradoc is a legend here in
Caradox,
the community.
Caradox, you should send me. We should start talking about it. I know you've been sending us feedbacks about how it has been for the pick and ban system. So I'm very glad you did it, and I hope to even maybe play with you together sometimes in the near future. I would like it. But
There we go.
what about? It seems that GreenOne has to go. So what about me facing Pantalonnade and for 1 or 2 game
Excellent.
while we are at it?
Excellent. Let's
I'm
do that
gonna
then. Let's do that then.
I'm gonna end up my stream, I suppose, and I'm going to join Pantalonnade on ODM and on the ODM Discord, and you can cast our games if you want
Well, what
until
we'll say very quick.
Panta has to leave.
What we'll say very quickly before we go. Thank you very much, everybody. If we wouldn't mind saying thank you here to the legend himself, Alfredinho, coming on, giving his thoughts.
Yeah, I must thank you because you. It has been quite swift. Like you've been. I mean, I've been asking you if I could co-cast with you very late into your planning. So
No
thank you
problem at
for
all.
having me in the stream, and thanks for those who are watching me. It's a pleasure always. So.
No problem. And down below for you there, for everybody, just so Alfredinho can see on his way out, in there's going to be a link to the channel where they can go see all of the stuff from Alfredinho, and there's going to be a link there to the ODM Discord, so you can see all things coming forward in the future here from this fantastic clan. So thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much to TheGreenOne, and I'm looking forward to seeing you play in just a second.
Yeah, see you guys. Have fun. Bye.
Thank you. Well, excellent stuff, guys. It was tremendous to watch two very top-tier players going up against each other. It really was exciting. And for you guys that don't know Alfredinho, he is a tremendous player. You know, certainly, you know, in the top 3 in the world for his craft. He really is amazing, and I believe Pantalonnade is a student of his, and TheGreenOne as well. So really, really nice stuff. Alfredinho is going to be playing. So I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen. So what we'll say is congratulations there to TheGreenOne. He's going to be running 3-2 in the series. So at the beginning, it looks like the Men Beasts did win. Fantastic stuff. But yeah, no, really good, really good. I thought that was some really nice games. We got some, hopefully some good tips and tricks there across to you guys. And now we're going into some other casting. So it looks like it's going to be Pantalonnade going up against Alfredinho. All right. Alright, so we might get like a best of 3 going here, see how we're getting on. Alfred is pretty okay. Yeah, he's a really nice dude. I really like Alfredinho. He was always very handy. You know, he was very helpful to me when I was coming up in the scene. When I was pretty new, he helped me with this and that, and he really is such a nice guy. So please do go check them out. They're fantastic guys. You'll see lots of tournaments coming from them, and all of the amazing people like Loopy. You'll be having Pantalonnade, you'll be having GreenOne, you'll be having Alfredinho, you'll be having Hanadins, and so many, Raziel, and so many other fantastic guys from ODM. I honestly can't say a bad word about any of them. They are so nice to me, and yeah, you have big respect for them as a clan. So we'll be moving on here to probably a best of 3, I would imagine. So we're going to have a best of 3. Excellent stuff. We'll start on Eschen here, which should be a nice map. We'll see what they have to do here between the two of them. But yeah, it was some very, very interesting gameplay. And I think the Butchers there getting 1.4k as well in the... you know, getting that 1.4k value really does show that their potential in the matchup. And I think, you know, they still had some value to give as well. They only had 3 models left towards the end, but that value was rather good, I must say. A really, really good stuff there coming forward from the Spanish legend. So, what else have we got here? Only okay. Yeah, he's alright, I guess. So, it looks like we are going to have... Ooh, this is a very, very interesting matchup. It's going to be Pirates potentially going up against Dark Elves. Let's have a look here, see what we say in the chat. Sure. So this one we're going to have Vampire Coast, no bans. It looks like Dark Elves is potentially going to be the counter. Very interesting. It's like Alfredinho wants to show off some of the Vampire Pirates, which I believe are incredibly strong here in Warhammer 3. They really have shown some good healing, good cheap cheerful chaff with some cheap guns over the top. You really couldn't ask any more there for domination. So that's rather exciting. So we'll change the scoreboard here for everybody, just so we're on top of things. So we're going to go Alfred. Oh, that's silly of me, isn't it? Nope, that's not what I wanted, but that's what I got. There we go. Ah, dear God, it's been a while since I've used this, so I do apologise for all of these antics. So Alfredinho there at the top. Bum bum bum. Let's put him in. There we go. He's in. He's locked in. So a particularly interesting one here. I think I have seen VP win this. Not a particularly great matchup. You can go pretty cheap and cheerful. Go really wide here with the Dark Elves. You know, lots of Dark Riders, lots of Bleak Swords, Dread Spears. You can bring Marathi. Double Manticore can do pretty well as well. But you can go like 20 stack, and it makes it so difficult because your 20 stack will just always beat the 20 stack of VP. So I don't know if he's still going to be playing. I think the stream has ended over on this side. So we'll close that one down. Excellent. So it looks like they're ready. Let's hop into this. So who's gonna win here? We're gonna have a Vampire Coast win, or are we gonna have a Dark Elf win? There we go. Who do we think? Who do we think is going to take the biscuit here? Oh, I didn't change the map. I forgot to change the map. We got caught up casting. I do apologise. Right, so I'm sure it's going to be excellent regardless. So here we are going to be having Scurvy Dogs at the front. We're also going to be having Count Knuckles with the Gunnery Whites, which is very, very powerful indeed. Deck Dropper Bombers, lots of Deck Dropper Bombers. These bad boys don't have much range. They do have flaming attacks, however, but 60 range is not huge. We have a Bloated Corpse, which is excellent. Sirens and Polearms. The Bloaty Boy is an interesting pick. He's an interesting pick. One Gunnery White, Knuckles, and let's have a look here for the Dark Elves. For the Dark Elves, we are going to be having a Black Ark Corsairs, which is an interesting pick. Dread Spears, Dread Spears, Dread Spears, lots of Black Arcs, lots of Bleak Swords, Shades as well, which is a bit of a nightmare there. And we are going to have the Supreme Sorceress of Fire Harpies, which is a nice pick. And over here on the right, Dark Riders, and Dark Riders in the trees with more Harpies. It's nice to see Harpies get a bit more of a pick here in the land battles. Of course, they've been pretty good with Furies in Warhammer 3, so it's nice to see them getting a little bit more stuff. Loopy, when am I going to get to play against you? Hey man, just found your channel. Your commentating style is the best I've seen on YouTube. I'll have to binge watch some more. Oh, thanks man, I really appreciate that, dude. Yeah, please, sit down, enjoy, relax, grab yourself some snacks, and yeah man, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for the nice comment. That's really, really nice. So at the front, we are going to have Count Oculus. He's going to be shooting down round here. We're going to be, oh, very nice stuff here up against the Dread Spears. Lots of damage in the middle. Interesting going after the Dread Spears, not really going after the Black Ark Corsairs. A little bit more expensive, and that anti-infantry with the high armor value can be very, very difficult here for the cheap zombie pirate decker mobs. My apologies. Over the top here, we are going to be having somebody in the tree. Let's go with the Bloated Corpse. He's going to get caught out here with his pants down, but we are going to have Furies in the sky chasing up against the deck dropper bombers. We have some Sirens on the flank, some Scurvy Dogs that really can't do too much here. But looks like the cannon is going to be shooting, yeah, to no avail here, sadly. So we have 80 speed on the bombers, and we have 92 there on the Harpies, which means they're going to be doing some pretty good stuff here on the deck droppers. Shooting over the top, and the Shades, they are very, very powerful. 2 shots per volley with bucket loads of armor piercing, and Stalk is just going to be deleting the dropper bombers. Black Ark Corsairs going to be shooting up the right flank. A bit of an interesting one here from Pantalonnade. Bit slow there on the micro to kind of turn around the corner here, as it were. There we go. Now he's going to be seeing that. But we see the bombers getting around the backside. A bit rare to see Harpies in this matchup, but, you know, of course, they're certainly going to be paying dividends here in the later stages of the game. Harpies in the middle could... Do they have magic damage? No, they don't in this one. But we do see here that Sirens going to be a bit of an issue here, I think. In the middle, this is going to be a Burning Head. Burning Head going down the line here of the zombie pirate deckhands, and that's a really, really nice spell. So having that Burning Head here is really good up against the undead. Of course, you know, with all such things as regen, and then of course they don't have much armor, so Burning Head does some fantastic damage. In the middle, we are going to get a Flaming Sword of Ruin. That's going to imbue magical and fire damage, which makes them very good up against the Sirens. Alfredino has to realise this and drop off. So we are going to have Spears fighting here up against the deckhand mobs. A bit of healing in the pocket with an overcast invocation of Nehek. I don't think it's going to be enough here. Balance of Power is certainly going to be favouring gently towards the Dark Elf, but Knuckles is in the back, and Knuckles really cannot be outruled here. He is very, very powerful indeed. Invocation going to be catching a few of the Scurvies, and the Scurvies really are handy. They're very good at cleaning up shades and such in the backside. They don't have much armour, and their mobility is rather low. So we do see here Dark Rider is going to charge across the battlefield. It's going to be a bit of a thump coming up against these Scurvy Dogs. And look at that charge in. Brilliant stuff there as we're going to be pinning them in place. And then the Burning Head down the line of the Scurvies as they're pinned in place. Brilliant stuff. Guns here shooting from the Gunnery Whites. We are going to actually have the Dark Riders here wavering just a little bit. Not looking too good. Scurvy Dogs are now going to be debilitating in the backside. They're going to be going down to -2 leadership, down to 26 models. Not looking particularly healthy. Dark Riders across the battlefield going to do some pretty good work as we free up these Shades. In the backside, deck dropper bombers have been pulled out of place by the Harpies. They're going to be going down pretty quickly as we see some return here of these legendary Dark Riders. A summon here, Overcast, giving the zombie pirate gunnery mobs. They're going to be summoned with those pistols in hand, shooting here up against the Horse Riders. And in the back, we are actually going to be having the Gunnery White fighting in hand-to-hand combat. Now, the Gunnery White can be really, really nice here in the middle. He does actually have the brilliant ability, which is going to be the Scab Scrath, which is really good at dealing with cheap infantry. But he's going to get absolutely deleted here by the Shades. But Scab Scrath down the line here of the Dread Spears does some really nice damage up against the lightly armoured infantry. Shades are going to be the problem. And Noculus needs to get over there and knock on the door rather quickly. He is going to die in a matter of seconds. Now we see here Dark Riders chasing off the Scurvy Dogs. Halberds with the pole arms here could push into the back, and that would be certainly very strong indeed. Knuckles here going to get certainly cut down by Harpies, shot here by the Shades. But we do actually have some of the Sirens still going you know, pretty ham here in the backside. They are actually going to have the ability which is going to be Charmed, which reduces that melee attack for the Dread Spears and the Bleak Swords. In the middle, what is this going to be? This is going to be some sort of spell. This is going to be the Flaming Sword of Ruin. So the Flaming Sword of Ruin is going to be a good overcast effect that's going to be imbuing magic and fire damage, which will be very strong here up against most of the ethereal units, and it's really going to increase that base weapon damage and armor piercing. It's going to thump down Noculus. Army losses. GG's well played here to the forces of the Dark Elves. Excellent stuff. Oops, wasn't live. I paused. LOL, we good now. Nice. Welcome back. Welcome back, Break. So yeah, very interesting one here. Looks like 71% there for the Vampire Coast. Rather interesting. I think that's particularly quite heavily favoured here for the Dark Elves. So 350 there for the Fire Sorceress, with 160 and 400 for the Dread Spears, 440, 230 and 300 for the Bleak Swords. 200 there for the Black Ark Corsairs, 1.8, 1.6, 1000, and then of course we're going to see 620 for the Shades. Now we're going to be having 33, 308 there for the Dark Riders, with 750 for the Dark Riders, 1 there for the second units, and we're going to have 900, 400, and 250 for the Harpies. Harpies really went in hard here. So a bit of a meme from Alfredino, quite like this here with the Rotor Corps. Still got 300 value, which is excellent. 1.3k there for Noculus, 250 for the Gunnery White. We're going to be seeing 91, 92, 250, and 230 there for the Zombie Pirate Deckhands. The Polearms coming at 230, 140, Siren 0 and 300, 440, 490, 270, and 230 for the Scurvies. With the Bats really not doing too much, which is a bit of a shame. One thing I have seen that can be quite good here is the Regiment of Renowned Deck Gunners. So the Wraith Gunners are really good. They're actually the, here's a bit of a fun fact for you, they're the only unit in the game that doesn't cause terror, which is rather interesting. But yes, no, they have that beautiful discourage ability, negative 16 leadership. They can be, pretty good at breaking frontline units, and they challenge up against Shades really nicely. Shades, of course, only have 130 range. So excellent stuff indeed. Let's move on to another map. Let's see what we've got here. Troll Country's a bit small. Maybe here we can go with... What have we got in the back pocket? Sword of Torgal is rather wide. That could be quite a nice map for sure. Looks like Alfredino is going to be going with the Vampire Counts. Do you exclusively do EU tourneys? No, I don't. No, I don't. I do tournaments for everybody. Anybody can join any of my tournaments at any time. Yeah, so anybody can play. Greeny looks very different today. Greeny, hey, how you doing, man? Greeny certainly has been mixed up for sure. We are going to get the dub there from Pantalonnade. Pantalonnade, otherwise known as Pantalonnade, is he's a big believer. He loves the Battlemania. So for those that don't know me, Battlemania is my main tournament, which is where it's 4 weeks. You join each tournament, and the more tournaments you play in, the more points you can get. If you win, you're automatically into the final. The winner of all 4 weeks gains 4 slots, and the final 4 slots are given to those that have the most amount of points. So the more you play in, and the better you do in the tournament, the more points you get. Which is it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun there for the 4 weeks, and then we have a grand final with prizes, which is really quite awesome. So this is a very interesting matchup. I would say heavily favoured for the Dwarfs. I think a lot of the elite infantry can be quite difficult here for the Vampire Counts to deal with. Pants and lemonade. Indeed. Oh, very nice. I'll have to join one then. Get my butt thumped for playing Domination so much. Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries. I do Warhammer 3, Warhammer 2, Domination and land battles. So there's so much to get involved in. And if you are a new player in the scene here, Break, something that's important, that might be important for you, is I actually host a new player league. So if you're brand new to the multiplayer community, and you have, you're certainly a newer player and you'd like to get some more experience, I do a league called the Short Bid League, which is basically where new players play up against strictly other new players of the same ability. So you can grow up in the scene. So you don't play up against your Alfredinos, your Green Ones, and your Fanta Lemonades immediately. Because I did a tournament once where I played up against Falcon. I played up against Alfredinho, like all in round 1. I played up against Anticity as well, and I beat two of the 4, which was somehow a miracle. I don't know how I did it, but I beat 2 of them. And I was thinking, man, some new players, man, like they just join tournaments, and it's just sometimes it's so hard to come up against all these elite players with so much game knowledge. So I built a new player league where you can come along, play up against other new players, get good experience, and it's a private league. So you know, there's nobody else can see the league except you. Only you guys that are in it have fun, and you try and get better, and you can work your way up the ranks. And if you win the very top league, you get promoted, and you're out in the wider community, ready to go and ready to play. I've been playing with 20 players for a while, but I've never actually gone into a tourney. Well, listen, if that's something you might be interested in, do feel free to let me know. But even if you're from A, you should be able to play in them. They are also leagues, which is even as, yeah, exactly. There's leagues in there, tournaments for new players. So yeah, and you can organise and play your games as you please. So on the front, we are going to have Graveguard, great weapons, more Graveguard. Graveguard are very, very good in this matchup. More Graveguard, zombies, Graveguard, zombies. We are going to have a Corpse Cart, the Unholy Lordstone. So that's actually, I believe, giving debuffs and healing. So we are going to be having here the buff with the Vigor Mortis, and then the Unholy Lordstone, which gives regeneration there too, with regen on top as well. So healing this Graveguard is rather nice. Heinrich Keller is going to be on foot, and he's a rather nice pick indeed, I must say so. With the Lord of Undeath summoning Krell, also going to have Raise the Dead, Invocation of Nehek, and the Chaos Tombblade. The Curse of Undeath, and the Master of the Dead, which also just gives more and more healing. Fellbats in the sky, just in case we see any gyrocopters, and also have Black Knights on the flanks. Graveguard coming over here, some Graveguard great weapons as well, as we see the Dwarfs going really wide here, so Dwarf Warriors, Longbeards, Ironbreakers, Quarrelers in the pocket as well with some Slayers. Looks like we are going to be having just a regular Lord, which is rather interesting, with the Norgrimling Ironbreakers. We are going to have more Ironbreakers, more Dwarf Warriors, and then lots of Quarrelers in the back with the Dragonback Slayers. So really good stuff here. Crossbow's going to be shooting up against the Fellbats. And yeah, I really like the slow T you get from the Dragonbacks. Also, you know, the mighty prowess here of the Norgrimling Ironbreakers is rather powerful indeed. So in the beginning here, just to explain, the way I kind of work this is once you've engaged into melee combat, once the vampire counts have engaged with a few units, I then count that as the attacking rules have begun. Here it's going to be a bit of a movement stage where he's trying to encircle his opponent and then go from there. But at the moment, it is to no advantage of the vampire counts to sit here and get shot. You know, they gain nothing from that, essentially. So he's going to be surrounding solos. So as long as he's making constant progression here towards the dwarfs, I don't mind. Looks like in the middle we are going to be getting some Fellbats, maybe shutting down some of the Quarrelers. Might be quite optimal, but they're going to be getting shot quite a bit here. Alfredinho getting taken here for a bit of a spin, I must say. We are going to see some of the Black Knights coming across. More Fellbats here in the rear side. Black Knights are going to get a beautiful surround with some of these nice anti-infantry armor-piercing Graveguard. And you can see the shrieks and the shrills coming here from the Black Knights as they charge downtown into the Ironbreakers. They're going to be waiting here with those blasting charges in hand. Maybe a couple of baits here. No, so very nice stuff. They're going to be off fire at will, which I really like here. Those Ironbreakers don't really want to be throwing too many of those blasting charges up against heavily armoured cavalry. Fellbats now going to charge onto the backside here of the chorus. They're going to compromise them quite nicely as we see some zombies going in this nice long line, pouring through the little gap here left by the dwarfs. We are going to find zombies compromising Quarrelers in the backside. We actually have more of the Graveguard popping into the middle. Black Knight's going to be compromising the Lord choice, but Slayers are going to be rather hot on their tails. Zombies are going to be ready to go. We see here some of the Black Knights pulling out as Slayers are going to be fighting in the middle. Graveguard really want to get in amongst the Slayers as they do have some good anti-infantry, and you know, that armor really helps protect them up against those Slayers. In the middle, we are going to be having some of the Graveguard great weapons fighting here up against the Dwarf Warrior. Dwarf Warriors will drop rather quickly, especially with this Unholy Lordstone that's going to be healing the units around, keeping them in nice tip-top shape. In the middle, we are going to have Krell fighting here up against some Ironbreakers, and it's going to be a Longbeard Ironbreaker front line, really holding here up against the Graveguard. Shooting in the middle, we are going to have Quarrelers firing up against the Graveguard in the backside, and debilitating here are going to be the Black Knights. They do manage to stabilise just about, not too well, but they are now going to get a charge here on those Quarrelers. Lovely stuff indeed. So So really good compromising here across the board. Really good stuff there from Alfredinho. We do see here in the middle we have Ironbreakers, you know, holding pretty true. We actually have Graveguard, which they can struggle here up against Ironbreakers. They do have 67 melee defense, and the anti-infantry is not huge here for Graveguard. So Graveguard is going to have an anti-infantry of 8. And then, of course, they've only got 26 melee attacks. That's going to be 34 melee attack on top here of these Ironbreakers, which is not that huge when you really think about it. Which is why, if you actually do come here with the Unholy Lordstone, it really does buff the Graveguard Great Weapons. So Felbat's here going to be fighting up against those Quarrels. The Lord Choice charging to the front. Could he beat maybe down here Heinrich Keller in hand-to-hand combat? Only time will tell. But Black Knight's going to do some good work up against those Norgrimling Ironbreakers. Graveguard with the Great Weapons going to be falling at the front, sadly, here for Alfredinho. But Graveguard now going to be recharging up against some of those tools there with the Quarrelers. The Dragonback Slayers have been dwindled down rather quickly. They're going to be down to 2,400 health. And not very many models. We do see a return here of some of the infantry, so Quarrelers and Longbeards returning to the battlefield. In the middle, we are going to have the Lordstone doing rather well, healing, keeping top-tier shape for the Graveguard, but you can see they're drained on their Vigour, so they're going to be taking a lot of negative here to their stats. The Corpse Cart will heal, but he won't, you know, he definitely won't sort out that Vigour. In the middle, we can see the heal cap coming forward from the Graveguard. The Invocation of the Heck has been overcast to heal in a 40-meter radius. He will only pick 4 of the most expensive units and heal those with some pretty good healing, though, I must say so. Felbat's going to be finishing off the Quarrelers there on the right-hand side, and Felbats have proved to be a very strong tool here in Warhammer 3. So Black Knights here could get a bit of a juicy charge on the Quarrelers, and there's quite a contingent left, I must say. So Balance of Power is going to be favouring the faction here of the Vampire Counts, doing really, really well, I must say. I must commend Alfredinho. This build is quite something. Now we're going to get healing on top of healing on top of healing. Master of the Dead there for Heinrich Keller. The Corpse Card, the Unholy Lordstone, also going to be giving healing. That Vigor Mortis in the middle. That melee defense and melee attack is so strong here for the Vampire Counts. And the rear charge, that constant negative 16 leadership coming through from the cycle charging cavalry is such a strong combination, even up against some of the most elite dwarfs in the game. Now we are going to have Dwarf Warriors and Quarrelers here, kind of, you know, on the edge of breaking / holding. We are going to have Felbats doing some good work in the back here up against the Quarrelers. Graveguard going to be putting some good pressure on the Norgrimling Ironbreakers. Good charges here. Krell has been summoned in the middle. He's going to be slicing and he's going to be dicing. Now this man here has one of the most beautiful battle axes you've ever seen here in Warhammer history. Look at that thing. It's completely scary. And Krell is going to be, I think, insane in Warhammer 3. I think he's going to be very, very good for domination indeed. Lord comes in here with a bit of a high kick and then a punch there with Warhammer, or the battle axe actually I should say. He's going to be slicing and dicing through the Graveguard here like knife and butter. But we do have Graveguard kind of returning, getting shot here by Quarrelers. Ironbreakers and Dwarf Warriors are going to be holding the line. Balance of Power is going to be teetering on Armidos here for the Dwarfs. Quite a bit of damage going up against the Lord Choice. We see a lot here of the cavalry going to be cleaning up the backside of those Quarrelers. It's not looking good here for the boys in blue. In the middle, we are going to have Dragonback Slayers getting pulled down pretty quickly. A nice blob here is really good for the Vampire Counts. That's just lots of healing and lots of bonuses. Now we do see on the right hand side Graveguard. It's terrifying here to see. And it's a pretty interesting build here from... Oh. That's interesting. I think we've crashed here, guys. I do apologise for that. Oh, very sorry, guys. I think we've crashed. So we're not going to be able to see the end of that there. I do apologise. Let's kill Warhammer 2. I'll have to end it. Well, that's a bit of a pain in the backside. Sorry about that, guys. That's a bit of a nightmare there, I must say. Zinch influencing your computer, 100%, 100%. Yeah, Logic had to slip in judgment after one too many Troll Slayer brews. Yeah, Matt's a mod. Yeah, Matt's always been a mod. Right, we'll have to load up with Warhammer 2 again. So sadly, we're not going to be seeing the end there, but I'm pretty sure that would have been a win there for the Vampire Counts. Hopefully they didn't get booted as well, but time will tell. Yeah, very interesting. I think in that matchup, I normally go, certainly more elite is definitely where I go. Dwarf are losing, logic ends it. Yeah, exactly. Well, the Dwarfs didn't lose if I didn't see them lose, you know what I mean? There we go. We'll host again. Multiplayer, host battle. Right. I'm going to cross over my headphones because that's rather loud. Warhammer 2 is rather beastie. Logic promoting Dwarven propaganda. They never lose. Exactly. Exactly. If you didn't see them lose, they didn't lose. Yeah, sadly, I crashed there. I don't know why I crashed, but I just did, sadly. Sorry about that, guys. Right. So we'll try and see... Oh, I can only do this now. I can't actually invite people. Yeah, I don't like the way they've changed this system. It's a bit of a pain in the arse, I'm not going to lie. But there we go. Sweet. Let's chat out with you guys. Ah, Pantalonnade is back. All right. If Krell is summoned but no one is around to see it, was he really there? That's true. That's true. That's true. It's kind of like saying if a bear shit in the woods and you didn't see it, did he really shit in the woods? You know what I mean? I get it. I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you. Because the thing is, do bears shit in the wood? That's the question. Because no one's ever really around to see it. So do they actually do it, or is it just propaganda? Who knows? Who knows? And I'll use this segment to say, guys, if you've really enjoyed today, please do feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be doing a lot more events coming soon. Work has been smashing me in the face. It literally has grabbed me by the neck and punched me multiple times. I've got a new job, plus technically I've got 3 jobs, plus this, and I'm doing my master's degree, so I've got quite a lot on my plate, so I've been trying to do as much as I possibly can. Keeping up with the videos, keeping up with the live streams as well has been rather difficult. So normally what's been easier for me is I've actually been doing some stuff on Twitch. So for you guys that don't follow me on Twitch, do, because there's also a lot of content on there for you to check out. So I'll leave that down there below for you guys to check out. So do go through and check that out. Give that a little follow. Really would go a long way. I do multiplayer on there. I did some really fun games. So I played some Just King on there, which was really nice. Basically, just flip on, go, play Just King. And that was really simple for me. With multiplayer, I normally have to do some planning, get some players together, or build a tournament, or something like this. You know, it takes time to plan, which I can't always do because I don't always have that time, if that makes sense. So, you know, sometimes it's really good for me for Twitch just to go boom, 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 I'm on live stream. Your room there looks kind of like my dorm. Yeah, my room is actually it's in the process of being changed around, so you can't really see it right now, but I've got a floor space just here on my right. I'm actually going to be changing everything. I'm getting an L shape coming forward for my computer where I'm going to have my new screen, so I'm going to have 3 screens for live streams where I work on the middle one and I have like chat on my left and other stuff on my right, so it's going to make it like a bit better for live streams. And then I'm going to have this desk move over to the right where there's going to be a couch, and I have my I have an old PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2 where me and Ducky. So if you guys don't know Robert Duckavoy, he's actually my housemate. He sleeps upstairs, and this is our gaming den, I guess. And then I'm going to have like a retro station to my right where we can sit and chill on the couch and, you know, do what we do, which is going to be pretty fun. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, the triple desk would be right. But yeah, no, that's interesting that it looks like one of your old military rooms. This is actually quite an old place, actually, but it's really, really nice. It's really cheap. It's right on the high street as well. We live in London, quite a nice area, I must say. We got really lucky with this. You know, it's right next door to my uni. It's so close to work, and there's work everywhere around here. So it's fantastic, you know. It's good. If legend says it must be dwarf propaganda. I mean, listen, maybe it is. Don't walk barefoot in the woods. Well, this is true, Parkerona. Do not walk barefoot in the woods. Otherwise, you might find out if bears do or don't shit. That's true. That's true. This is going to be an interesting one. So it looks like we have Empire coming up against the Beastmen. So how's this going to be played? Now that's a good question. Now Alfredino is well known for a bit of a scoot and shoot, as I like to call it, a bit of a kite build. I wonder if we could be seeing such a build here today. Now Outriders can really outtrade up against Centaurs and Tentacle throwing axes. Centaurs in general would be the way to go. I think throwing axes is probably not the way to do it here, but just regular Centaurs and Warhounds can do a bit of a number, especially with poison. They can take down Pistoliers and you know, all sorts. But it really depends on how Alfredino wants to play this. I don't know if the map is going to be into his playing. He might have to go for a bit of a different build. Only been to London once. I'm in Kentucky. Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah, London is, you know, there's lots of opportunity in London for sure. There is lots of opportunity. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So, we are going to be going to the town of the Empire. We are going to be here with the Altdorf Outskirts. This is my favourite matchup in the game since Warhammer 1. I am a Beastman. I made Beastmen since release. Yeah, I mean, Beastmen is very, very powerful these days. Probably the most powerful, I must say. But here, we are going to be outside the legendary Altdorf. This is going to be the Altdorf Outskirts, as we're going to be looking upon the fantastic Empire sort of city here. And we're going to be dueling here to the end. Empire are going to be defending their homes with the Knights of the Blazing Sun, so they're going to be calling on the elite cavalry of all these bad boys. Really have some good flaming spears. Yeah, flaming attacks, I don't really know why they've got magic resistance. I don't know what the law or reason for that is. I believe they should just have fire resistance, but every time I suggest that, well, of course, magic resistance, doesn't exist anymore, but every time I used to suggest that, I used to get slaps from everyone that likes using the Empire. But Pistoliers in the middle. We are going to be having Flatulence, which is going to be rather interesting. These bad boys can be rather good indeed. Some of these Sigmar Suns, bit of an interesting one to see Alfredino using these. I thought it was quite the ODM strategy not to use the Sigmar Suns, but being unbreakable and having some decent melee stats really does go a long way. Some Spearmen in the rear. We're going to be having a Fire Wizard in the sky, and then a Huntsman General on the floor, which is certainly the favourite here of Alfredino. Pistoliers at the front that can do really good work here up against Centaurs and Centaur throwing axes. So Ungor Herds, Ungor Spearmen. It looks like we're going to have Tolorox the Brass Beastie at the front. He's going to be bringing the Brass Body, and the Slaughter's cool. We're also going to be having a Jabber Scythe alongside a Bray Shaman of Beast with the transformation of Cardon, and that is it. So just the Manticore Summon. The Tuscal Chariot on the side, very, very powerful. More Centicles and Centacle great weapons. A little bit interesting, we don't see the Regiment of Renown bringing the magic damage. They can do a bit of a number here for sure. And we are going to see Ungor Spearman Herds pushing forward here. These are the ones without shields. So Ungor Herd's going to charge forward here. Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to dumpster on the infantry here. Bit of a micro mismanagement here coming forward from Pantalonnade. But Alfredino is certainly going to do lots of good work here. Now, of course, we are on large rather than ultra size for the units, which means that pulling in and out of infantry is a lot easier for cavalry in this game. We do see the Bright Wizard charging across the battlefield. We see some Ungor Spearheads in the middle getting shots. A bit of scoot and shoot here from the front line. Good rotation of the troops here coming from Alfredino. We see the Flagellants pulling back, the Swordsmen as well, as also a left to right rotation. So we're going to see them kind of pinning away while still kiting, really showing the prowess and the micro ability here of Alfredino. In the middle, Tuscal Chariots, and then also some of these Centaur throwing axes. Moving forward, we do see that the Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to be getting away. Only 71 speed there for them. In the backside, we do get a return of the Ungor Herd that got pretty well butchered at the front. So So we hear the screams of our enemies as we see that the Ferromanticore has been summoned in the middle. This beast has come from the Chaos Waste that no one dare show themselves in. We are going to be having the Jabbersaw fighting up against the Knights of the Blazing Sun, causing terror, doing some really good work indeed. And the fact here that these elite cavalry knights do not have immune to psychology is rather troubling indeed. We're just seeing the backside here, the great weapons should be moving around. I think Pantalonnade here on the micro is really struggling to keep up with Alfredino. We see the cavalry lacking behind just a little bit. We definitely want to be seeing it getting around the backside here, but we are going to be right up on the white line. So here Alfredino has a really good out, so he can really put himself this way and do some good work. But we can see as he's rotated from left to right, he's still going to be leaving himself a nice pocket over here on the left hand side to retreat to. In the middle we are going to have Ungol Raiders ready to shoot over the top, hopefully do some good damage here up against the Flagellants, as they're going to be the nice naked kind of weird boys of the Empire. They love a bit of bougie damage, and they love just going mental for Sigmar. You know, they do their things, you know. But in the middle we are going to have some of the Knights of the Blazing Sun fighting here up against the Ferromanticore and also the Jabbersaw. The Jabbersaw really has taken quite a bit of damage here in the middle. He's going to have some lovely abilities though. We are going to have the Aura of Madness, which causes a bit of a Mortis Engine effect, and then also the Spiraling Blood, which is going to be giving that Vortex effect with poison damage. A terrified here with the Knights of the Blazing Sun, and this is the problem being so close to the white line. They've been terrified. They do return. Very lucky here for Alfredino that there is a certain dice roll. The more leadership you have, the higher chance you have of returning. Now we do see in the middle the Huntsman General is getting absolutely bonked on here by Taurox, but the man of the myth, the legend, is going to be slicing and dicing here up against the Knights of the Blazing Sun. And yeah, the Huntsman General is certainly in some need of big help. He is going to be returning. Taurox here has been mismicroed, and now he's going to be going back towards the Huntsman General. And he's going to move through, and he's got some very, very good mass. He'll push through onto the Huntsman General rather quickly, but he can scoot and shoot. Big damage up against the Pistoliers, certainly slicing and dicing there. Well, the majority of the battle is going to be happening here. Looks like the infantry has been sacrificed for Sigmar, so we can get away here with the Pistolier Corps. Now, bit of a mistake. We are going to find that Taurox now is on his own, and he's going to be getting shot by mass Pistoliers. We're going to have the Huntsman General firing into the backside here of the big brass bull, and it's not looking too good here for the Beastmen. Banterpat is going to be pulling here into the favour though of the Beastmen, which is rather interesting. We do see the Jabbersaw rather empty there on his health pool. But we do see the Tuskers really cycling through up against the Sigmar Suns. 29 models left, going to be shooting here with the Ungor herd. And in the backside we are going to have Centaur throwing axes getting taken down by the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Now they're not going to be able to pick them up. They still have, I believe, yeah, 84 speed. Now if they do get their abilities, which is really powerful here of Rowdy, given that leadership, perfect vigor, and then also primal fury, makes some of these units incredibly powerful. In the backside, Ungors are going to be getting cleared up here by the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Very, very tanky, very, very strong units with good resistances. In the middle, we are going to have the Brave Shaman Beast, kind of fighting here up against the Knights of the Blazing Sun. We do actually see that the Tuskor Chariots are going to be getting away as the nice armor-piercing great weapons of the Centaurs are going to be, charging throughout the battlefield. The Naked Boys here of Sigmar are going to be fighting 9 models, and the other one does drop there pretty quickly. The Jabbersaw is still going to be going, 650 HP for him, 60 armor is not a lot. Those Pistoliers are going to finish him off rather quickly. Balance of power is spot on even here. These Pistoliers do run out of ammunition, and now we charge in here with the great weapons. They're going to thump rather quickly up against the Pistoliers, and they do not have great melee stats. We're going to be seeing here, let's have a look. So I think it's going to be 14 melee defense is garbage when you compare it up against the throwing axes of the Centaurs. We can see numbers do prevail here in the middle, as they're going to be breaking the Centaurs even with the throwing axes as well. In the backside, the Huntsman General is going to be looking a little bit on the empty side, but 666 there for the health. That tells you everything you need to know there about Sigmar. As we see Taurox cleaning up the backside here of the naked worshipping weirdos. But in the middle, we are going to have 22 Flagellants. Sigmar Suns here have been kind of forgotten about here. Alfredino not too bothered about what happens to his men of Sigmar, as we have a few units in the backside. What is this going to be in the backside? This is going to be... oh, so the Bright Wizard here from Alfredino has been left in the corner. A bit of a missed micromanagement there, but that can happen. Of course, you chase off a unit, you can forget about it. But you see Pistoliers shooting up against the Centaur throwing axes. Good mobility, 90 speed, will be chasing off the Centaur throwing axes. In the middle, we do actually have Taurox the Brass Bull going absolute beast mode up against these Pistoliers, and he really will bring them down. Now, he has Fear, no Terror in the back pocket left here for the Beastmen, but he will do some very, very good work. Tuskor is going to be getting shots here by the Huntsman General. He can fire whilst moving, and now we can use the Pistoliers to chase off the Tuskor chariots. And Taurus is going to be fighting in the middle, but he is so large that he can get shot here by the Huntsman General. That is going to be army losses. GG's, and well played to Alfredinho, and a very, very well played Empire build. Well, well, would you look at that? We've been visited by Slanesh. Thank you very much, Mr. America. I really appreciate that. Yes, Slanesh be gone. Slanesh be gone. There's going to be no adult dating in here. How dare they? Also, why have flaming lancers? Well, Break, this is a very, very good question. So, as we can see here, we'll get into that. We'll see... Alright, so yeah, a very interesting one. So the spell resistance here, or the magic resistance I should say, for the 4 units of the Knights of the Blazing Sun, means if we bring Traitorkin, we really nerf Traitorkin there quite nicely. Traitorkin is very good up against cavalry models, and there's going to be a lot of negation there coming forward from the Knights of the Blazing Sun. So I think that's going to be the method for that basically, which is why we saw the Beastcaster. I was a bit surprised, but it makes more sense now of course that the Knights of the Blazing Sun have been brought. They're very durable, rather quick for their armor class. 71 speed is pretty decent. Very, very, very strong cavalry, and also they can challenge here up against Centaurs. They can do some really nice work indeed. Ron, me to dispatch the Reckoners after. Thanks, dude. No adult dating? No, not here. No, this is Warhammer. Cool, I think we're going to be getting Pantalonnade in, so let's get him in the Discord ready to go. Get his thoughts. Hey, Pantalonnade, can you hear me?
Hey, yes. How are you?
I'm very good, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm a bit tired after TheGreenOne and Alfred.
Yeah, that was some excellent games. How did you find it all? Which was your favourite match today?
I really like the dwarf against KO.
Okay. Yeah, that was Alfredino was saying that it was disgusting that you're using those gyrocopters to very, very good use.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I want to say thank you very much for today. I think you played very, very well. It's a shame we didn't manage to finish the series, but I think you played very well today.
Thanks. I feel like I was maybe I lose a lot of micro today because I was quite tired and I don't know. I didn't rush very well and I lost. I think like my Rudev games. My last game I was. I was quite. It was quite hard for me.
Yeah, of course.
But it was fun. Very fun.
Playing up against Alfredino as well, you know, the man, the myth, the legend. And I think, you know, we all get tired and things like that happen. But I think you had a very strong game. I mean, I think the one game that shocked us was the Wood Elf Skaven game. But you know, that was still very well played there by TheGreenOne for sure. So do tell me whilst we've got you on, what is your favourite thing you're looking forward to in Immortal Empires for Warhammer 3? What's that one thing you're really looking forward to?
Maybe a buff for dwarf. No, like a faction or
just anything. Like, what's the one thing you're looking forward to using dwarfs again? Are you looking forward to maybe some new factions coming in? What's the one thing that you would like to see or play?
No, I really want to play dwarf in non-battle. I think they can be really good.
Yeah, I think in land battles they're going to be very good. I think in domination they're going to suck quite hard.
Yeah, I think for me domination is very hard for defensive faction, like dwarf, KT, allies. It's favored as one kind of faction, very rushy faction, or the faction with a lot of healing.
Yeah, this is true. Well, listen, I'm going to say thank you very much for playing today. It was an absolute honour to have you on, and thank you to all of ODM. So, thank you very much. Have a good evening and rest well.
Thanks. See you, Logic.
See you, man. Well, some lovely words there from Pantalonnade, who's an absolute champion. All three of the guys that played today, I want to say thank you so much for all of them. It wouldn't be the same without these guys playing. And obviously, these guys have got jobs and other things like that, so being very tired and stuff is something that can happen. But Pantalonnade lost Wood Elves against Skaven. Yeah, he did. Yeah, but it was a very, very good. Impressed with the Empire. I generally think Beastman win that matchup. It can be. Alfredinho is, and it's one of those things, right? And this is one thing that I do tell people that watch my videos, watch my live streams. When you watch stuff and you see stuff, you may go, oh, why did they do that? Why did they do this? In that moment and I've played against Alfredinho quite a few times, his micro is so good, so quick and so sharp, you have microsecond to make a decision. And that decision is either going to be right or it's going to be wrong. And if it's wrong, you just lose. Because he is that good. And in this matchup with his Pistoliers that have high mobility, really tanky Knights of the Blazing Sun, and a very strong, unbreakable front line with some Spearmen with that bonus versus large, it's really, really difficult to find a place here with your Centaurs or your Tuskals to really make a difference. It can be very, very tough indeed. And some of these top tier players, for me, you need to play against them just to see why it was that tough, why they did what they did, and why they made the decisions they did, or certainly how those mistakes can be made. Got to make fun of him now, of course. That's part of being ODM, right? You gotta give each other gripe when they lose. But let's have a look here. So the Husband General, 700 value for him, 750 cost if he's naked. So pretty good stuff overall. 600 for the Bright Wizard, 170, 300, 330, and 150 for the Spearman. 480, 500, 530 there for the Flagellants, 700 for the Sigma Swordsman. So 200, 700, 900, and 730 for the Knights of the Blazing Sun. 900, 1,800, and 940 there for the Pistoliers. So for Torok the Brass Ball, 516 there for him. 33 for the Brave Shaman of Beasts. With 320, 312 for the Ungol Spearman. The Battle Axe and Shield coming in at 166, 522, and 440. 66 and 270 there for the Ungol Raiders, with 100 for the Centaurs, 111 for the second unit, 740, 712 for the Tuskal Chariots. So the Great Weapon Centaurs coming at 500, the Throwing Axes at 700 and 530, with 1,000 for the Jabber Scythe. So a very interesting matchup. Yeah, I've seen Avdrin play before. He's super strong. Yeah, he's probably top 3 in the world with his performance. He is certainly a very, very, very strong player. He is one of the best I've ever played against for sure. He is really good, really, really good. We had a fantastic series. I want to say thank you very much again to the ODM guys. Let's see if we can find some of the stuff up above. Yes, we can. So if you want to go check out their Twitch, there's a link to it there, so you guys can check that out. That's going to be a link to their Twitch, and here's a link to their Discord if you want to go and interact with these guys and have some good fun. They're fantastic people, so please go check them out. So for today, I'm going to call that it. Over the next couple of days, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so there'll be no stream on YouTube for the next 4 days, but we will have videos, so you'll be able to interact there with those. I will be getting Mortal Empires rather soon. Can't tell you when, but when I have it, you will know on the day, because you will see a video, hopefully. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. It's not been a massively long stream, but these games were hopefully good quality, and you got some good knowledge out of one of the best players in the world. So guys, please take care of yourselves, have a fantastic day, and I'll be seeing you all pretty soon with some videos, and I will try and see if I can get live on Twitch at least once this week. So take care of yourselves, see you all soon.